Well, hello everybody. This is Fun Speculation Podcast FSP episode number 137. Today is March the 31st, one day before April the 1st, which means tomorrow is April Fool's Day. Which means if there's any amazing news tomorrow or shitty news tomorrow, ignore it because there's a 90% chance that it will be fake. However, everything we're going to talk about today is either not fake or it's speculation at its finest. So I hope you all have fun enjoying the show tonight. Shout out to the chat. I see some awesome people here already. And yeah, it's been kind of a lot of random little things to talk about. So we'll have some fun, and we are luckily joined again by the man who must have returned. You know, I heard about the shuttle finally delivering the astronauts that were stranded in space, Jasper. So it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's been fun. Been working weekends, so I haven't got to do much shows wise. But I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I love that game. I haven't enjoyed Assassin's Creed in a long time, so this one's actually really good, and I'm loving it. So yeah.
You're actually, now Jasper used the word love in regards to a game, which is extremely
Means it's game
rare.
of the year.
I've been praising the shit out of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I love it also. I think it's like the best Assassin's Creed I've played in a long time. It could end up being my favorite, and that story, gameplay, everything. Like, what's your favorite thing about it so far?
Just like being a ninja and like sneaking around killing people is just so fun.
Yeah, man, living your fantasies out. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, it's good to have you back. Then we got the one and only 3-Bit here hanging out as well. What's up, 3-Bit? You got a fresh cut?
Yeah. It was the same behind the scenes. I didn't wait till Thanksgiving to get it, and was able to do it. No, it was pretty cool. I got my hair cut. I went to in the barber. I was like kind of falling asleep, right? So I was pretty tired. And he was like asking me
like
about
this.
music. Yeah, I was like. Like because haircuts could take a while. It's kind of comfortable. He's playing like Soul for Real and some classics and stuff. And then I just started to fall asleep, and then he was like, "Yeah, what kind of music you listen to?" And I told him, and all of a sudden I'm playing like hardcore rock music in a barber shop.
Right on.
I mean, he seemed to like it. I told him it was a band called Sleep Token. Shout out to Sleep Token. But yeah, now I'm back and here I am. I've been a fake gamer this week. I haven't had a chance to play a lot of games this week, but I'll be a real gamer again this week. So looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Well,
So,
we allow fake gamers here too. It's all right.
Cool.
Glad you're here, bro. And Fuzzy Belvedere, what's up? How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great, except for this storm that's going on in the background. So if I blink out, yeah, it's an hour outage. But so far, fingers crossed, everything holds up. But also been enjoying Assassin's Creed Shadows a good bit. Yeah, the brutality, just chopping off limbs and stabbing people. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But other than that, I haven't been on social media as much other than to see something from ROG Ally or Asus as far as some upcoming things. So
yeah, we'll talk about that.
Who knows? Maybe that handheld is right around the corner.
Yeah, Xbox actually made a reply to that as well. So yeah, we'll get into that whole thing later in the show as well. How many hours do you have in Assassin's Creed Shadows, Jasper?
13 or 14.
Have you gotten to the point where you can switch between characters?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of side stuff. Like I killed the two like smaller like first gangs you unlock or whatever. I like wiped all those out. So
right on. And what about you, Fuzz?
I'm probably 30 in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm at the point where you can switch, but the problem I'm having now is that I want to play as Yasuke a good bit, but he can't climb or get to some of the viewpoints that I didn't get earlier on. So I have to switch back. I'm going to get all the viewpoints in the, I guess you could say, the little town, spy location thing or whatever. Unlock those, and then and just knock people's heads off their shoulders, kind of thing. After that, but yeah, he can't climb. He can't. Uh, he definitely can't do the assassin's leap of faith kind of thing.
Right.
That's like the funniest thing when he does that. But yeah,
Yeah, that fucker's big, man. Like
yeah,
when I saw him like later on, like the opening is one thing, but when I saw him later on after you've been playing as Naue for a while, right? It's like, wow, okay, this guy is huge. But yeah, I had gotten past that whole story arc there that I can transition now and everything. Man, that like ending of Act 1 story and stuff, like that whole part, it's fucking great, man. Like, and I'm pretty like people say I'm not very critical and all that stuff of stories and writing and all these other kind of stuff, but I don't know if there's been a game like a AAA game where I've been as invested into the story as I was, like, especially during that sequence. Everything that was happening, like one thing would happen, then it would transition to something else and kept building upon itself and building upon itself. And I'm like, wow, this is a really good story sequence, right? That made me even more invested to what I want to do going forward as well. And it's crazy to say all this because like that's what all the backlash before the game ever was released was about oh the characters don't make sense, like it's gonna have bad characters, gonna have bad writing, bad voice acting, bad this. And I'm like, what game are these people even talking about? After playing this, I'm like, wow, it's pretty damn incredible, right? And it shows how a lot of that noise that we hear early on for games, just like ignore it, man, because a lot of these people
That's
are
the
just
weird
making
thing
up
is like
shit.
I'm still seeing that on like Twitter. Like people are still like fighting like Assassin's Creed's so bad, and they keep posting like Steam numbers of that and other games. It's like I don't.
Yeah, but they haven't even
Who the
played. They
fuck
haven't even
cares?
played it or
Yeah,
touched the
I know.
game. It's like it's just like a battle to try and sabotage something because of their agenda against Ubisoft. Which I have issues with Ubisoft too, but I'm not going to let that affect my judgment of a specific game. You know what I mean? It's just like play it, and if you like it, it's great. If you don't. One cool thing I learned too, because and maybe this was stupid of me to begin with, but I bought the game originally to make sure I could use the whole stream your own game thing for Xbox, right? So that way I could play on my console and then stream it from my tablet with that feature that they have, which they had announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows was going to be a part of it. And then I had seen people saying on Twitter, well, in order to have Xbox anywhere, you need to do Ubisoft plus you need to buy the game and all these things. So I was like, okay, well, I want to play on my PC too, right? So I could see it in all of its glory. So I ended up subscribing to Ubisoft Plus again, right? I got the game on sale, so I didn't really care too much just to add that as well. And I was thinking, well, I can play some of the other Ubisoft games while I have it also. But what I learned is all the Ubisoft games that are part of the stream your own game feature, if you have Ubisoft Plus, you can use that as well. So I can play Star Wars Outlaws on the stream your own game feature. I can play Assassin's Creed Mirage on there. I can play any of the other Ubisoft games that are available on stream your own game with Xbox with only the Ubisoft Plus account and Game Pass. Obviously, you have to have Game Pass Ultimate plus that. But that combination between the two, it just gives you like full Xbox anywhere for all those games with cross progression, cross save. You can stream it, all that stuff, man. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, not every game is in the stream your own game feature, so you want to check and see which ones are. But they got most of the newer ones on there. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown's on there as well, so I can get back to playing that. Another one I was really enjoying. So yeah, that's a cool thing I learned, and so I'm making that a public service announcement for everybody. You don't have to buy the game to use it for the stream your own game. If you want to just, if you already have Game Pass Ultimate, if you do Ubisoft Plus, you will have access to all those via that feature also. So I thought that was
The other thing that I also like about Assassin's Creed that I think a lot of people aren't talking about is like the world itself is like it's probably the most detailed world since Red Dead 2. Like there's like it's just so like handcrafted and like there's like attention to detail in like every little city. It's just like amazing. Like I haven't seen a game like that in a long time. It's like I feel like ever since Red Dead 2 it's kind of peaked and like it's stepped down, but now it's like kind of getting back up to that point.
Yeah, and a lot of the side characters are great too, man. like that are part of the story, but just a small part. Specifically in Act One, they're like you have to fight this guy, and he's like on the shinobi side, part of the Iga clan and stuff, and like it's just like this older guy, and I was like, man, I fucking love that character. Like he's only like here, but man, I wish he was in the rest of the whole damn game because that character is just awesome, right? But anyway, yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, guys.
You guys are making me want to
3-bit, you got to
like.
if you like have you liked past Assassin's Creed games?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite franchises. Like 1, 2, 3. Of course, the classics was my favorites, and then really loved Black Flag. I started falling off around maybe Origins time frame when they started becoming like a little bit more. It was always open worldy, but it almost started becoming a little bit of a different genre, like less stealth elements, less about the creed and stuff like that. So I what I loved about Assassin's Creed was the creed, was the assassin part of like the storyline, and then like Altair and Ezio, and then there's the story with like Desmond and stuff. Like I love that. Like to the
Yeah.
point where I like 100%ed the second one, and I always said like I will come back to the franchise if they ever like kind of return back to their roots, which they kind of did with Mirage. And then or if they did Japan. And they freaking did Japan. So I gotta
See,
return.
I was kind of the same way. Like I've always like the Ezio trilogy was like the best ones, and then like I tried playing 3, and that was a struggle for me to get through 3, and I was like, okay, whatever. I skipped Black Flag. I tried Syndicate a bit. I couldn't get into it.
Black Flag's great.
I tried some of the other ones, and I just couldn't get into them. Like even tried Mirage, and I couldn't get into that one. But like this one just like instantly clicked for me. I felt like we're back to Assassin's Creed with it.
I feel
Yeah, I feel like
the
it's a good time.
they did the prologue and the story intro kind of helps with that too, because it's just like became engaging like right away, and then the gameplay. But 3-bit, like specifically, if you like the old school Assassin's Creeds, this is like the perfect blend of the old and the new as far as gameplay, because the stealth is
dope.
all
Like
there.
I like just from clips that I've seen, I like how they didn't seem to shy away from like it seems pretty bloody. And it seems like you can like hack off limbs and stuff, which no one's really talking about. As well. I don't know, like controversy is freaking annoying sometimes because it can not discredit a game, but it like
It changes the
sometimes
conversation.
overshadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like instead of people just focusing on like, oh, like what um things are actually in the game, it's about all this dumb stuff that has nothing to do with the game itself. And it's just, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to play it. I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I mean, I already bought it, so I just need time to play it.
Right on.
So it's on the list.
Get to it. It's fantastic. But yeah, besides that, guys, speaking of Ubisoft, wanted to give a shout out because today is the anniversary of one of my favorite games of all time. 20th anniversary today of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. So
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
it's 20
They're talking
years, man.
Yeah, they announced the 20th anniversary, but they haven't done anything with the franchise in like 15 years.
Yeah, we've gone 2 console generations without a Splinter Cell game. We've seen Sam Fisher appear in other things and stuff, and this was back then. I mean, this was like the Mount Rushmore for Ubisoft, like as far as like IPs. They had just had after Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, they had just gotten Far Cry going. They had Assassin's Creed had just started getting going, and as far as the Clancy verse, it was like Sam Fisher was at the pinnacle of it.
Yeah, he was the face of Ubisoft, like
pretty much, yeah. And then they just kind of let it go because they couldn't figure out how to turn it into their other games. It seemed like, you know what I mean? And we're sitting here at the 20th anniversary of Chaos Theory, which they're talking about remasters, remakes, all these things, and supposedly there's a Splinter Cell remake happening, and they're going to have a fresh starting point and all this stuff, which could be amazing and super exciting. But like that, if you're going to remake like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which still holds up well today, like go back and just do a full on remake of Chaos Theory. Like I don't think anybody would be complaining about that. A 20-year-old game getting a full on remake that is, I mean, it had Spies versus Mercs was where it picked up.
Great mode.
It started with Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, but Splinter Cell Chaos Theory really took it to another level. You had the co-op levels as well, the co-op missions. You had an epic story. You
One of
had
the first Xbox Live games I played online.
yeah, you had best in class graphics. Like there was no right at the time for any game to look as good as Splinter Cell Chaos Theory did on the original Xbox, right? That was one of the reasons it was exclusive, was also just because other systems back then weren't really capable of playing it to its potential. I mean, the lighting on it, everything was just
Yeah,
insane.
it had the best fish tank physics that we've never seen ever in a video game after it.
Yeah, you talk about that, how you could like change the water levels based on shooting bullets in the glass. Just crazy to think, man. So shout out to Splinter Cell, and we will continue to talk about Splinter Cell occasionally, off and on, until Ubisoft does us justice and gives us the proper Splinter Cell game that we all deserve.
If they survive long enough to make it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. How old were you when Splinter Cell Chaos Theory came out, Jasper? Like 8, 9?
Well, it was
20 years,
2005, right? So that
20 years ago.
So I would have been 9.
9? At 3-bit, you would have been 10. 3-bit, you're on mute.
I was either 10 or
9.
My gamer tag was Popbox 10. So I think I was 10 years old.
Guys,
when
because I was born in 96, so I would have been 9.
Yeah, so
crazy.
my gamer tag every time it was like related to my age, so I was about 10.
Wow,
which is crazy.
Fuzzy's old. Like, did you play Splinter Cell back then, Fuzzy?
No, I was on PC mostly at that point doing simulators. Was it F-15 Eagle or F-15E Eagle and stuff like that. A lot of those types of games back then.
Yeah, so
that's initially how I played Splinter Cell, because it came with I had like a demo on PC for like a NVIDIA GPU or something. So like I just played like the first level over and over.
in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, I think it's Chaos Theory. It's either Chaos Theory or Double Agent, but like there's an option to watch Splinter Cell movie trailer, because they like had planned to make this movie, and there was like a little teaser trailer for like Splinter Cell movie that they were going to be making, and then later it was announced that they were going to be making a movie, and Tom Hardy was going to be Sam Fisher, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, that's like one of my favorite actors and like one of my favorite franchises. Like, it was just going to be amazing, and that never happened. Instead, we got the shitty Assassin's Creed movie, and we got a Prince of Persia movie. But yeah, they never really did justice.
At least we got some good shows. Get some decent shows though.
Yeah, with Clancy.
Yeah.
Without
what was the shows again? It was like
well, they got the Jack
Michael
Ryan
B. Jordan one.
Yeah, well, that's Without Remorse. That's a movie on Prime. That one's pretty good.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
That's about the origins kind of Rainbow Six, of Team Rainbow or whatever. And
well, there's a Jack Ryan Amazon show.
The Ryan shows are great, yeah, but they don't necessarily have to do with any of the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would be cool if there's a crossover there as well. But yeah, I would supposedly they were doing a Splinter Cell Netflix show, but was that canceled?
I thought they said they canceled that.
I guess so. Yeah.
I thought it was like not live action, right?
It was animated.
I thought it was animation.
It was animated.
That was canceled?
That was still on.
I thought they came out and said the Splinter Cell like film stuff was canceled, but I don't know.
Man, we can't get a break with this franchise. What the heck?
Yeah, it was a Netflix thing. I honestly, the trailer looked like ass. So Netflix,
so
Splinter Cell trailer. I don't see any I don't see any other news about it, but who knows? They first teased it last September. Well, Splinter Cell, please come back, please. So earlier, Fuzzy, you had mentioned that we saw on Twitter today a little peek or preview at something. So Asus had had a post on Twitter where they had showed off this little like robot thing with PC, and he's like, okay, like it enters these things and like to combine something, and you see him going to this machine, and then in comes a ROG Ally and a whatever their controller's called. Not sure what their controller's called, and they go into there, and after that, it's like it's an Xbox controller, right? But the Asus one, and after that, it
Hmm.
shows a shadowy glimpse of a handheld with a smiley face in the middle of it, and the thumbsticks glowing. And a lot of the people who had been leaking and talking about the Asus Xbox partnership had started calling out that this is the first look at I think it's Project Kennen, which is the Xbox based handheld made by Asus, right? And little lo and behold, Xbox comments underneath the post with a little side eye emoji thing that, like, if you remember, Xbox made a post a long time ago when the Series S was revealed on
Oh yeah.
accident, and then they made that same post and it blew up. Well, they just did that in reply to this device as well. So we have gotten just a very slight tease of this new Asus device that will be in partnership with Xbox. And I would imagine that would mean probably the announcement is coming soon. To have a tease like this, I don't know how long they would do a tease like this before they actually make the official announcement. Xbox, 3-bit, you're in marketing a lot, right?
Mhm.
You would
Yeah,
think that they would do this tease and then probably shortly after make the announcement.
you would think so. Like they probably have like a month, few plans or something like that. Like it's always interesting because sometimes the marketing departments could be not super segregated from like the higher ups, but it could be like a pretty separate team. Like I would sometimes comment under like the Affleck account, for example. And I had no idea. I was like,
Hmm.
I would sometimes get a plan, but I do think that it is leading up to something, and it's very interesting. I think maybe a couple months from now we could hear an official announcement, and this was like the first um tease for it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. This is definitely the tease for that with Xbox commenting in the post and with the whole
yeah,
Xbox controller thing and
was this
combining with the
also a
handheld.
part of that robot animation thing I saw?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, the
Like I
robot goes
that
in
was
there.
it. Okay, okay, that
Yeah.
was it. I didn't fully see
Yeah,
that. I just seen
it
like
was
a
revealing the next gen of Asus handheld without like showing it yet. They're teasing
right.
their new handheld, and that new handheld will be more Xboxy, right? To kind of have,
Yeah,
supposedly it's going to have like an Xbox launcher, so when you boot it up, it's going to have kind of the Xbox similar UI, and you'll be able to access, your PC library and your uh probably your streaming games and all that stuff as well. But maybe by then they will have implemented the Steam tab as well to access Steam games that you may have installed on that device also. So this is kind of like the what we've been talking about last couple weeks after the announcement of this thing was like, for me, this is kind of like the starting point of what they're going to be building towards, where next generation you might see several third party devices that are going to be playing Xbox games. Like this one probably won't play native Xbox games, like library games, like from your console, right? This is not the
Just whatever's in the
native
PC store.
handheld, right? But eventually, the next generation, as the consoles are all, they figure out the licensing stuff that Sarah Bond's working on, that they have talked about that they're working on trying to get the console library accessible on those kind of devices and stuff. At that point, then that's when we'll see some changes with that. But this is going to be kind of the starting point, and I think it's like going to be something for them to kind of build around. And I don't think it's going to be the only thing, because you're going to see more third party devices in the future that would have been just Windows based, right? have this launcher probably, because it would make more sense for them to have a gamer friendly launcher than it would to be just the basic Windows one that these devices were using before as well. So, but Fuzzy, you think we get announcement soon? What's your timetable?
Hope so. I'm thinking with that little hint or peek of what Asus is talking about. I hope we get something shortly after the what do you call them? The Switch 2. I was hoping that Microsoft, if they have something kind of in the ready, they would have probably been better off announcing it before the Switch 2 to kind of put it out there at least. But they're at this point, they might as well just outwait the craziness that pre-orders are going to be for that Switch 2. Maybe give it a month or so. Because I guess April 9th is the unreleased release date or something for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday or something. I'm thinking by at least May or at the latest June for the June showcase. Get some like pre-order
rumored
time frame or something.
April 2nd or April 9th. And then anticipate launch in June, something like that.
The Switch?
Yeah, Switch 2.
Yeah, they're having their show on the 2nd, so
Yeah,
that show will.
I was just
pre-orders will go live then, but I don't know when it'll be available.
Yeah. So if I was Microsoft, I would try to at least beat that launch date, but I know it's not exactly one for one the same, customer base or market, but if you release it any time within that Switch window, it's pretty much going to get overlooked to some extent, except for like the enthusiast Xbox customer base. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting with this device too, because it's gonna get like a lot more attention just because of its association with Xbox. But like, no, it's gonna be like, oh, nobody's gonna care about this thing. It's an Xbox. It's gonna get all this like negative talk and stuff. Like, why is Xbox even doing this? But like, people are not gonna be thinking of this as like it's Asus's device, right? This is like Asus's device is just going to be the evolution of a device that they already have out there with the ROG Ally, except this one will be geared towards the ecosystem of Xbox with the launcher and stuff, which is, goes hand in hand with what Xbox was talking about, making Xbox more, or in even these handheld devices, better for gamers, right? And of course, they're going to do it with their own ecosystem. They're not going to go in there and make it, hey, we're on Windows, we're going to automatically launch you into Steam. No, they're going to launch you into Xbox, and they're going to make it consumer friendly and casual friendly for people to be able to access and play their games and navigate within that ecosystem. And yeah, you'll be able to get out of it and go and access your Steam games and all that other stuff too, right? But this is going to be the kind of starting point where we see that hybrid device, right? This is not hybrid yet because it's still mainly PC, but in the future, once we get access to the console library on those devices, that's where it really is a game changer for sure. So it's gonna be interesting seeing the reaction.
So like, I know you were asking them like, do you think it's soon or whatever? Like, just going off like, I'm thinking this more of like a PC hardware kind of an announcement, and like usually with PC hardware, it's like they kind of tease it, and then like a couple of days later they may show it off, or like a month later they might fully show it off, and then it comes out like shortly after that. Also, like usually PC hardware cycles are like a couple months from announcement to actually shipping it. The only thing that's kind of like iffy on that is also at the same time with the PC market is usually you see hardware specs get leaked like 3 to 5 months in advance, and we haven't really seen that leak of specs yet from this device. So that's the only thing that's kind of keeping me iffy on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering too if that could be because they have a little bit more of a association with Xbox on this, if there could be a little bit more tight on some of the specifications and all that kind of stuff. Like the only leak we had seen previously with this Steam stuff and all that other kind of things was like Xbox screwed it up themselves and posted it. The rest was rumors and speculation from people that have heard things, but like we actually saw Xbox post something on Xbox Wire But as far as the handheld, this is the first thing we've actually seen officially, besides hearsay and speculation and people that say they know it's coming, right? But this is the first acknowledgement that, hey, this is legit, this is real, that this is actually happening, and I think we all have something to look forward to as far as an announcement. I don't think this is going to be necessarily a game changer for Xbox fans. Like literally, it'll be able to
The
do
ROG Ally 2, basically.
yeah, it'll be able to do the same thing you can do on a ROG Ally now,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be more user friendly to do all that stuff, right? So, and you may actually appreciate the Xbox button layout and all that kind of stuff a little bit more as well. Over time, I think as more devices and they keep doing updates, it'll transition into what we see kind of for next gen and stuff. But shout out to Alvin, hit us with a $5 super chat. And he said, reminder, the original ROG Ally was actually announced on April 1st. So if it's revealed in full tomorrow, it's not an April Fool's Day thing. Good to know.
Didn't it
I
also
didn't know
like
that.
come out in June? Like they announced it and they come out in, I think, June, right?
I don't remember when the original ROG Ally came out, because there was like, I remember there was like the Logitech G Cloud, then there was the ROG Ally, then we had like an MSI Claw, so there's like several of them out there, was it at CES where we had the Steam Lenovo device
Yeah, it
get
came out
announced?
middle of June.
So that Steam device hasn't released yet officially, because I think it's still on pre-order. And I think the price went up $50 or something for official release. I think the pre-orders was like $50 less. But the Lenovo got announced, I think that was February. The Lenovo Steam device, and
The Legion Go S.
right, Legion Go
S
S,
for
and that's not out yet. So, but I think it's coming soon. I think it's about to release, I believe. So, maybe 3 month window there.
It says
or
it's
so.
launching in May. Is what this says.
The Legion Go S. Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
like a 3 month between an announcement at CES between like actual release date.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be around the same timetable for this. Xbox also has been working on this UI stuff, so that'll be the first time we get a glimpse of it on a device like this. So it'll be interesting to see how good of a job they did to make gaming more friendly on a Windows-based handheld device, which was something that they said they were going to make a priority. Alvin also hit us with a $2 super chat. Says one of the tags on the ad is play all your games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it
Really
says
ties into that
ALLY, like capitalized.
Yeah.
Was that purposeful? So I wonder if it's going to be ROG Ally, right? So
Yeah.
ROG Ally 2, maybe, or ROG Ally X.
Well, the X was their performance one where
Was
they
that
added extra
already?
RAM to it or whatever.
The
Yeah.
mid-gen. It was like a mid-gen refresh kind of thing.
So I wonder if this will just be ROG Ally 2.
I'm wondering if the base chipset's going to be like the Z Extreme 2 or something. Or Z2 Extreme, I think.
Yeah, maybe. So some are saying this is going to be their next version, like an actual upgrade. So that'd be cool too. If I ended up getting one, I'd want it to be better than what's already been out there for a couple of years as well. So looking forward to seeing more about that. 3-Bit, would you have any interest in this? A PC handheld that launches into like an Xbox UI?
Yeah, I said before in like other shows, like I'm interested in handhelds at this present time. Like for a while, I was like, I'm not sure. But just because I'm finding myself like playing in just in random spots, just like random places, I'm trying to like play on other people's PCs, or I'm randomly going downstairs and upstairs. I feel like in my current lifestyle, it makes more sense than it did like a couple of years ago. So I am finally interested in a device like this. I think this device seems just well, we'll see what it ends up being, but like it seems like if you don't have a Steam Deck, if you don't have like another device, this could be really cool for you. I don't have that stuff, so I am very interested.
Yeah.
And especially because it seems like Xbox is partnering with them. I do wonder what that means for the system itself. Like how much integration did they work with Asus with putting Game Pass on the system and the functionality of that partnership. So yeah, I'm overall just interested in how this is going to play and function.
Yeah.
When I like turn it on, so
I'm wondering too if at that same time, is it around the launch time of that, when that, because that'll be the time that we have this new kind of thing that it's gonna launch into. So the stuff that Jason Ronald talked about earlier this year at CES. And I wonder if at the
right.
same time it's going to coincide with like an update to the PCs to have this option for just traditional PCs, not just the PC handhelds, to be able to kind of, hey, I want to go into like pure Xbox mode or whatever, or boot
Right.
into that. So be interesting to keep an eye on things like that. Also, this access to Steam with that Steam tab that was previously shown could end up showing up with that new UI and all those kind of things. Stuff that's supposed to be kind of tested in the insider programs right now as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
lots to look
Yeah.
forward to, for sure.
Like, is it something you guys are gonna get, or you're interested in?
For me, it really comes down to if this is truly the ROG Ally 2, um, I'm gonna probably pick it up pending on what the Xbox version and what a Steam Deck 2 would look like. Like, I'm curious to see price point as well as like the overall chipset. But I think if it's going to have this updated version of like Windows 11 or like a Windows 12 hybrid that's more Xbox centric kind of thing, it may very well wind up replacing my Steam Deck. But my key thing is if I can play it like an Xbox handheld console and it's on par with like the Steam Deck 2 or ROG Ally 2, level with the next chipset or the most recent chipset, then yeah, it's definitely on the buy list. But I'm trying to wait to see what pricing's going to look like because I don't want to buy an $800 version of it, which I
Yeah.
know those are typically like the Extreme 2 or like the Z1 Extreme was like in the $800 or $900 range. I don't really want to spend that right now, but if I can get something under 750, it's the next generation. That's at least 256, and it takes a SD card kind of thing. Can play Xbox like an Xbox or play like a Xbox handheld. Then yeah, this may very well replace my launch Steam Deck. So we'll see.
Yeah. Callie says it needs to be top of the line, like stronger than the ROG Ally X, and a second USB port so you can use an external GPU. Then I'll get it. If it's a budget version with weaker performance, I'll skip it. Yeah, I kind of want a higher end device too, but also price comes at a factor at that point. Like for me, it would be replacing how I'm playing, like in bed when we're watching movies and stuff right now, because I'm using my tablet, which has a good sized screen on it, and I just have my controller, but I'm only really able to stream games from it, right? So if I could play native games from like my Xbox PC library, all my Game Pass stuff that's on there, I can access my Steam library, all that, then it would be something I would definitely be interested in. I had a Steam Deck before and I liked it, but the problem that I had with the Steam Deck was all the Xbox stuff was just a pain in the ass to get in onto it, right? Now this is like the perfect thing for me because it's Steam will be easy to put onto it. You just go and launch Steam. You install your games just like you would on Windows. But for the Xbox stuff, it's already all going to be there. So for what I have and what I play the most, like this is going to be kind of the best of all those worlds. I would be cool too if it's has like a easy docking solution or something. as well. I don't think they're just like going to sell a dock for it like a Switch, but maybe have some options there um, that are pretty good. And I think just trying to make it as easy as possible for somebody like me. It's not super tech savvy to kind of do everything I want with it. In my
Yeah.
house. A lot of people are going to use this for traveling. For like taking the train or the bus or the airplane. Whatever. Me, I'm using it when I'm in fucking bed watching uh movies with my wife at night, and so I'm also not concerned about the power stuff as well because I'll just plug that shit in when I'm using it. You know. So yeah, but I want like powerful native games, and I'll be
Yeah.
super happy.
Yeah, I was hoping when they first was kind of rumoring this device that it would be native. Um,
It'll be native for
'cause-
PC, but not for console.
yes.
Right.
Okay, okay. Okay, interesting. Actually didn't know that.
I mean,
But
I'm wondering.
unless it's like a Logitech G Cloud type device, then I would have zero interest in it because I've already got
yeah,
something I can stream my games with. But yeah,
the
if
cloud
it's
The
is
thing
getting
is,
better,
like,
but yeah.
I'm wondering if, like, because every time like a PC company's like kind of partnered with other companies to do stuff like this, it's always like kind of half-assed where they just like pre-install the app and then like put ads in front of your face when you like first boot up the device. Like, I hope it's not that, but we'll see. But like every time a PC company does stuff like this, it's always like they pre-install it and then just load you with ads in front of it. So I don't know
yeah,
if
we'll
it's
see.
actually going to be like an Xbox handheld.
Well, this is what like
Yeah,
it's not a native Xbox handheld because that'll come
yeah, I know.
later, right? But like this is what like Jason Ronald and all them were talking about with making these devices like an Xbox, like the third party devices. They went and Phil Spencer talked about it numerous times, wanting to make the experience better on those devices that are Windows devices because there's several of them that already exist that run Windows for the OS, right? And you boot it up and you got Windows there, but it's not very like user friendly for handheld gaming because you got it's Windows. You know what I mean? It's not really built like for a handheld gaming system. So this was part of their thing is like they want to make these devices like a Steam Deck kind of to where it's kind of tailored. The OS and what you launch into is tailored for gamers and not just boot into like Windows and then you have to work around it. So this is going to be the first glimpse of that, which yeah, I think there'll be issues to begin with because this is the first time they're doing something like that. But that's also where I've been talking about like the starting point of them getting to that console hybrid thing that is supposed to be happening next gen. Because that's got to be seamless by that time, right? So this is going to be updates and stuff over time and things like that. But if you can play all my Xbox PC games natively, you can play my games that I have on Game Pass that are on PC natively. I can stream my games as well from the console, like I would now that are part of the stream your own game or in the Game Pass library. Plus, I can install any of the games I have on Steam. It already beats a Steam Deck for me because I don't have to do a bunch of workarounds to make all that shit happen.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit. And if it's powerful and then it's going to be a bonus, right? So, but I didn't want to get one of those Windows based ones before because of the other thing. It's like I don't want to like have to have this kind of half-assed OS.
I just
thing,
want it to work. Like the convenience factor for me is the reason why I like consoles. I know some people could be like, "Oh, you could just hook up your console to your TV or your PC, whatever, to your TV." And I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same, right? It's not the same as a console where it's made for like your living room. You can't really haul a $2,000 PC to your friend's house. I mean, you could, it'll be annoying. But consoles is a lot more convenient for a lot of different reasons. You don't have to always worry about the firmware updates or you having a very specific problem that you have to look up online and be like, okay, it's because I have this driver. I didn't update this driver. I hate that stuff. If I could just jump into the experience and just have it just Like I turn it on, I got an Xbox app, I click on it, bam, I can play games, cool. That's kind of what I'm looking for in this device, and that's what I want to find out more about. Like maybe down the line, maybe they'll have like a demo or something. I just want to know how it works
I think
to someone who hasn't.
I think when they reveal it for officially, they'll probably talk about like, hey, this is this is like an Xbox. You're gonna put it right into this and stuff like that. And that's when we'll probably get the first glimpse of
Yeah.
that Xbox handheld or PC.
Usually, how Asus like reveals stuff like that is they'll give it to like YouTubers and influencers, and like they'll make their own videos, and they all come out on the same day. That's how they kind of did it with the ROG Ally. Like Linus Tech Tips and them got it and started testing it out. And
Yeah. So I wonder who they're gonna give this one to. Probably Jez. Colt. Don't know. Some of the usuals, but also maybe some of those other that are more in the PC community as well. But yeah, looking forward to seeing more on the announcement. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's tomorrow, and then we'll have more discussions about the actual facts when we get them and how powerful it'll be, like the pricing, how the OS looks and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be a interesting thing to look forward to. And like I said, it won't be the only one. Eventually, there's going to be more of these things. I think it already came out that Xbox is working with 3 partners for devices. So and then expect next generation consoles. You might have some of that as well. If it's a truly PC hybrid device, you might have an Asus console that just plugs into the TV, or Lenovo one, or whatever, which would be pretty interesting as well. So, speaking of handhelds, I do have some bad news.
Oh, hit it.
Well, apparently, the Switch 2 dev
Is it
kits
trash?
have no 4K output.
I don't see that as bad news. I frankly see that as good news. But
Really? Why? Even in dock
Yeah.
mode, like in dock mode, it's not even possible to have 4K on a console like that.
yes,
is-
because the fucking 4K push fucking ruined Xbox One generation. It's like, oh, we gotta have everything.
What?
We gotta have everything
Uh,
4K,
Well-
and then then you got 30 FPS games for the next fucking 10 years because it's like, oh, we gotta push 4K graphics and shit. It's like, no, fuck that.
But the like One X and the PS4 Pro like did it pretty decently, right? Like once a lot of those games got updates and stuff, that's when we really got 4K. So like I get what you're saying, but we're talking about 2025 now, not 2013.
We're also talking about fucking Nintendo, where it's still gonna be fucking outdated hardware.
Yeah, I mean, my standards. I said this yesterday on PXE. My standards for Nintendo is low as heck, right? I'm like, at least have PS4 graphics or PS4 something. I'm not even. If it does PS4 Pro, that would be like extra cake or extra. Like my standards are already low for Switch 2. But dang, I was hoping at least because some PS4 games could do 4K and stuff. At least, right? Is that not a thing?
PS4 Pro.
I mean,
yeah, PS4,
PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, but like natively, no. I mean, not even asking Switch
no,
to be native, but like all the talk about, yeah, but this one's going to be the Switch 2 will be taking advantage of all the new DLSS stuff and all these other things. Well, that part of the benefit of that stuff is to be able to have higher frames at a better resolution. And if we're capping out still at 1440 native like ability to even output at like for a display,
I guess
you're talking about like 65-inch and plus size TVs. You're still not going to have the best image quality on those things. Like even a Series S
Also-
can output to 4K.
like 95% of Switch users play it handheld, so I'm surprised they're even letting you fucking dock to a TV at this point.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
But that's a cop out, man, because like the Switch users will always say, "No, it's a console. It markets against consoles." And this has been my argument too.
Nintendo
No, it's
users
fucking popular
already-
because it's a handheld. So like, yeah, the handheld has its limitations. It makes it to where they have these kind of limits on it, which is like for a console user, for somebody that wants to play on a TV primarily, like that being the only device they put out, man, you gotta fucking in 2025, you gotta have fucking 4K. It's 2025 to not even be able to put out a 4K image as your primary platform. Like, what fucking year are we in? This is like, it's ridiculous to even think about the possibility that the only Nintendo device you can buy will still not support 4K 2 generations after it was a thing. It's just, I understand. Hey, it's Nintendo. Yes, Nintendo. I'm fucking sick of that excuse. Nintendo can suck my ass if they keep saying that stuff. Well, it's Nintendo. We just make Mario. Who cares what's 4K?
No,
I want to see
fans make
4K
it worse.
Mario. I want to see 4K Mario. I want to see 4K Zelda. I want to see 4K all that shit. Come on. Output to 4K. It's ridiculous. And you know what? You know what's going to happen, Jasper? You know what those greedy sons of bitches are going to do? They're going to come out with the Switch 2 next year in 2025, and then like in 2027 for $100 more, like Switch 2 4K edition is now out, and it also comes with a fucking Ethernet port again. And I will be like, oh, you sons of bitches. What, you was too ahead of your time to be able to release 4K in 2025? I mean, come on.
I mean, listen, the Nintendo fans will basically be like, they will go for the lowest thing. Like, oh, you're not gonna give us a controller? That's fine. Like, oh, you're not gonna give us a power cord with our console? It's okay, I could buy it. You know, their standards.
That's right. Then the AC adapters that stopped coming with the fucking DSs and stuff at some point.
Like, yeah,
it's all right. They already got one.
That's fine.
You can buy
I'll
it for
find
$15
one.
from GameStop.
Yeah,
But that's what
that'll be fine.
PlayStation
So,
did with the stand and stuff for the PS5 Pro.
yeah, start taking away stuff, and people are like, yeah, I should have took it away myself. You know, so it is what it is. I
mean,
again,
you might get 100 gigabytes of storage on the Nintendo device for the first time ever. You know, never know.
Yes.
I have such low standards for what the Switch 2 is going to provide for me. I have a very simple request from Nintendo at this point.
What's that?
Just PS4-ish graphics. That's it. It's very simple.
Supposedly
can
it was
do
going to
that-
follow between PS4 Pro and Series S, right?
Yeah.
Which both can output 4K.
Yes. Yeah.
They both are capable. Like there's games on the Series S that you can actually play in 4K because it's capable of outputting. Like,
yeah, like some fucking pixelated, worse than Minecraft, Vampire Survivors looking game.
I want to play those shitty games in 4K if I can. Like, come on, don't lock me at 1440. Like, if it was only handheld and not being marketed as this is also console, then hey, you know, fine, that's cool. But it's their console. Like,
I mean, honestly though, if they're using like output to 4K, like the games aren't natively going to run at 4K on this, so they're going to have to use DLSS to upscale it to 4K. But the thing is, when you do that, like when Nintendo games are going to run at such a low resolution that if you upscale that to 4K, it's going to look bad. So it's probably a good thing that they're not allowing 4K output, because if you upscale like a 720p image to 4K, it looks blurry. So that may be the reason.
Yeah, 720 upscale is crazy. But like 1440 upscale, it can look.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they may just upscale to 1440p instead of 4K.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well,
yeah. See, like Alvin says, this Switch has a ton of 2D games. This 4K option should be available for those games. It just seems like a cop out of like maximizing profits, and like how many of our gamers are actually going to care about this, you know? And they're like, oh, there's that fucking crazy Mav guy. I know he cares, but we don't give a shit about him, you know? If Fuzzy, am I overreacting, or is this like if this now that I will say this is not concrete yet, as Calorie said in the chat, that Tom Henderson said that he heard from some that their dev kits don't have 4K output. So it's not 100% yet. I would say that would be a pretty miss not to have 4K output on a dev kit if it supports it. But am I overreacting, or would that be a big miss, you think, for console people that are interested in playing Nintendo console?
I'm
I'm wording that very
it's a tough
specifically.
one. Yeah, I considering a lot of casuals don't necessarily care about the 4K.
Or tell difference.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. I I don't think it's as big a miss for their, I guess, target audience.
Yeah.
But their enthusiasts, yeah, it is a miss to some extent. It's still early on NVIDIA's help with DLSS, whatever that might look like. Um, if the base output is 1080, up-resing a 1080, with DLSS to 4K may not look so bad on a 4K TV. It'll still hook to a 4K TV. It's just that it won't be as crystal clear. But I don't know. I think this is a way to get this out the door, them still maximize profits, and then sell you a 4K version 2 to 4 years later. Maybe with an OLED screen. Because I don't know. Did they say that this thing has an OLED screen or no?
The early reports is that
I think
it
the
will not.
leaks were, I think the early leaks were LCD.
Yeah, so just be prepared for when they sell the 4K version a couple of years later.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna double dip the heck out of people on the Switch too.
Yeah,
It's Nintendo. It's what they do.
We'll find out in
Yeah.
2 days more about the system, and we'll find out about the games that are coming out for it as well. So, that's going to be, I think, the most important thing at the end of the day. But it does make me question, like, would I dive in day one and not just wait for an updated device, which would inevitably happen a couple years later, with 4K support. If I'm planning on plugging into that TV, or like where I play games, like in the other room 3-bit, I have a big screen in there, and
Mhm.
it's like, I don't know.
I don't think the price is gonna change anytime soon.
No, it'll be more.
Mhm.
It'll go up probably, but like
Yeah,
I'm just
but
talking
still-
about
Nintendo doesn't go down in price.
Yeah, they go up.
in our
I'm
bedroom.
wondering
We
if
have a
it's
pretty
worth
good
just picking
size.
it up to scalp it.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's a good idea. That's probably what King David will do. That's what he does. Like every time there's like a new console, doesn't he go to like and try and get as many as he can, and
Yeah, pick up like 5 of them, flip them the next day for twice or 3 times as much, if not more.
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
know.
so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to overreact too much until the official word is out, but yeah, it just seems so like out of time, you know. And I understand it's a
It's
handheld, and
been-
handhelds aren't usually pumping out 4K, right? But that's been my whole thing with them, is like they're like leaving behind like a lot of traditional console gamers, and that
I just feel like this news is such like not news, because it's like less than 1% of people actually give a fuck about this.
people that play Nintendo like as a console
Yeah.
instead of in
Yeah.
handheld
It's
mode.
like, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. They're that's my problem though with the Nintendo fan base, is they don't care about stuff like this, which leads to like a ripple effect of other things that they can get away with, to the point where it's just like, it's just Nintendo. Like it leads to other things, in my opinion, where it's like, but this is standard on every other console, every other publisher, but for Nintendo, it's like, we don't have to do this. It's just like, like I care about certain things, like 4K output is like whatever, but to me it does
Like-
lead to like,
I hear the 4K output thing, but like literally just about every streaming service that has 4K like streaming, it's like it's not exactly 4K, and no one fucking knows that.
Yeah,
and
but
no one
you're-
bitches about it.
But
So
you're
like
still outputting it like a 4K, like even with upscaling or and all that other stuff. I know it's like that real 4K, but if you're like limiting it to where literally the device can't put out a 4K image, then on all these 4K big TVs, it's going to be like blurry again. You know, like if you watch 1080 on,
Not if it's like 1440p output and it's like stretched to 4K or whatever. Like it will look fine. People won't even know.
I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe. I notice. I notice. Like I notice that shit. Like I do. Like I notice like 1440 versus 4K on a big TV. Now and on a small monitor, right? Or like a small TV or like a handheld, yeah, you're not gonna notice as much, right? But on a big screen TV, that's that's where like that's what I'm talking about, the console aspect of it. You know, like if they had another option, I wouldn't fucking care. Because like, okay, this is for the handheld gamers, and then they have the device that's more like geared towards people that want the best experience, that are plugging it into their TV and have like stereo and or relaxing, chilling on the couch and all that stuff. And I mean, that's how I grew up playing Nintendo games. You know what I mean? That I always grew up playing that. And I always wondered like what would they turn into eventually and all this stuff. And well, they just stayed the fucking same forever, and everybody's okay with it. Which at the end of the day is fine, I guess. But to limit it in a way to where it's only geared towards like that audience, and like no longer the console enthusiasts that had like seen the progression of generations and stuff go over time, it's just like they kind of got away from that. Now it's just like, well, it's going to be an improvement for the handheld gamers. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I got to see more, and I
Yeah,
could have a
it's the
completely
thing.
different reaction later.
Yeah, like we'll see when it comes out. I would say to like the whole thing with like Nintendo, like them having mentality, like some people are saying in the chat, like their target audience won't care, and they this won't care, and this will care. I feel like that has led to like a lot of developers not being able to develop for Nintendo, because of of that mentality. It was like, well, we can't even put our game on the console because it's so outdated. So I'm just, again, I have very low expectations for the Switch 2. If it can just run similar to a PS4, PS4 Pro, I think that's already better than what's it's like 10 times better than what's in the Switch 1. So if they could do that, then cool. I really miss the days when like the GameCube was very powerful compared to like other systems and stuff like that, and they cared about it at one point. But it's like they found
Yeah.
their niche, and they're sticking the
Well,
heck with it. So
crossing my fingers that that's just a isolated thing, and
yeah,
that it
it
actually
might just be
has,
a rumor.
yeah, that
It
it
might
has
just be the
4K.
dev kits. It might,
Like yeah. It, like I said, I'll re go over this when we actually, and luckily we don't have too long to wait, because I think in 2 days we're getting all this information, right?
I don't know if they'll say like this game runs at 4K in the showcase or
No,
whatever.
but we
I think
might
this is good.
learn about the technical aspects of the capabilities of the Switch 2 potentially.
I mean, I think they'll show off like its gimmicks and stuff in a few games, but I don't know how much else. Like,
well, I
and
bet you they'll
they'll be like
showcase
it has like
games.
8-hour battery life, like it's a 7-inch screen and shit like that, and they'll be like they'll show the Joy Cons if they can play it as a mouse, and then they'll show a couple games with it. I'm
Yeah,
not
but
expecting like
usually what happens
Your
is like
button
they'll
console
have a
game.
showcase, and then like they'll have an article that has a little bit more detail. Like maybe people get hands on that same day or something like that. And they're like more details about the Switch 2 after the show. Sometimes they do that, but we'll see.
If we don't see the word 4K anywhere in a blog post after about it, or see
Who knows?
anything about 4K during the reveal of the Switch 2, then that shit ain't outputting 4K.
Yep.
Because that will be something, I think, that they're like, finally, your Switch 2 games are going to be playable in like full 4K on a big screen TV. Here, console gamers, you've asked for it, we've delivered. No, it'll be like, hey, you all love our handheld device, and we're making it better for you. And if that's the case, then you know, it's is what it is. I'm still interested in it, even if it doesn't, you know. But it would definitely potentially change how I play with on the device. Like I wouldn't necessarily put it in my media room and leave it plugged in there because it would suck
And
ass.
and to Poison's point, where he said like, "Why are you expecting 4K?" Again, I don't expect much from Nintendo. I just hope some bare minimums are at least in there, right?
Because it's
Um,
2025 Poison Maniac. It's the only system that they have. That's why. Like that's why I'm expecting it because it is the only system that they are having available for the gamers that want to play their games, and the year is 2025. So, as a gamer that grew up playing Nintendo, I I remember the 64 coming out, and it changed everything because it was revolutionary, man. Like you could do shit on a Nintendo 64 that you could never do before on a system before, right? And they were pushing boundaries. They were doing different things, and like at some point people were like, oh no, that's not Nintendo. Well, it used to be. That used to be Nintendo, and they tried to revolutionize and change things and push things forward. And they instead were like, hey, we're just gonna go with the handheld market, right? Even the Wii U was pretty comparable at the time to like spec wise, a little behind to the PlayStation and Xboxes that were had come out the previous generation. So it wasn't like it was 10 years behind or anything like that. But it didn't sell. So they go with the handheld idea and just run with that. And it works for them because Nintendo handhelds have always been popular, but it's kind of left people like me by the wayside because I fucking love the Wii U, right?
Well,
Um,
I mean, like, I think that's where Nintendo's kind of changed how they innovate. Like,
yeah.
I would say that they're a major component to why the handheld market is as big as it is today, especially why we're seeing all these portable PC handheld things,
Oh,
is because of
100%.
the Switch success. So, like, I think their innovation is just kind of switched from trying to stay par with hardware to like, how can we make gaming fun in a different way?
Yeah. Just let me display my images at a high quality on a big screen TV still, please. If like
See,
if that's the only
that's so
option.
weird to me because like you're like complaining about the 4K output, but yet you stream games off an iPad in your bed.
Right, but that's as an option. Like it would that would never be the only way I want to be able to access my games. And they're also supposed to be updating that stuff to 4K also. So I'm gonna be able to play like 4K streaming, like in a fucking could buy a $400 or $500 device and still not be able to fucking do it on their own games. Like I'm just I play primarily like I bought the PC to play the games as high as I possibly can, right? Consoles, I have kind of like a minimum expectations for that, like, and a lot of the games that aren't 4K will be upscaled to 4K at least, and that's the console itself is putting out a 4K image, right, to fill up the screen full of the pixels that it can support. But the to not even have the option as like an output at all, like then you're relying on the TV itself to do the like, hey, we're stretching this smaller image out, which is different than like the methods that the games use themselves to make 4K images off of lower resolution, right? Where they're using like all those other technologies and stuff. So if it's like, hey, we can do a max of 1080 or 1440 and stretch it out to a big screen TV, then it's just as kind of behind the times as far as what to expect from a console on a TV, you know?
all I all I want is no more tiled grass.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with Nintendo. No more tiled grass.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Waffle says, I'd love to see the latency from streaming any game in 4K. You can do it now on an NVIDIA GeForce Now. Like they have great
GeForce
streaming
Now.
4K. You can also do Steam Link, and you can do 4K there as well. Stream from your own house via your Wi-Fi from your PC, and it works great most of the time as long as the game doesn't have specific issues with it. But like if you have good internet, 4K streaming is a thing that exists today, and many people use it and love it. I stream my games on my tablet, but again, that's like a when you're talking about that, Jasper, I'm also that's like a 12 or 13-inch screen. You know what I mean? Like I'm a lot more content with 1080 or 1440 on a 10 to 13-inch screen than I would be on a 65-inch, you know, or bigger. So I don't know, man. Like it's just we'll see what happens. Maybe it's all for naught, and maybe they'll surprise me, and these reports are false. Alvin with the $5 super chat says Uncharted 4 released in 2016. Switch 2 is supposed to be PS4 Pro power and will be here till 2032-ish. Will it ever have a game that looks UC4 good? You would hope so.
No, probably not. But I would like to see. Nintendo has really good developers. So I would hope that that's why I'm so interested in the Switch 2 is now that they have some power that they for a while have subjugated their style for many of their games according to the specs of the hardware. So with Switch 2, you get a little bit more hardware power. What does that mean for their first party games? Does that mean they push the style a little bit more? Could they eventually have some more ambitious
Well, that's
stuff
the
with their
thing is like
I
they
don't
kind of
know.
really only change the style with like the Zelda games. Those are the ones that really only have like major style changes. Like Mario kind of just always looks like Mario at the end of the day.
Well, with the Mario game, I remember you're right, but they did have like the one Mario game where he's in the city. Like, imagine how that
Mario
could look.
Odyssey.
Was that Odyssey? Um, yeah, it was like someone where he was in the city, he could throw his hat and whatever.
Yeah, it's Odyssey.
Yeah, yeah. So just imagine that, but like with even clearer visuals and stuff like that. Like Mario, a lot of
Yeah,
their
but
games
but we won't get 4K Mario nipples.
Yeah, which is not happening. But I'm saying they go towards those specific styles because of
Yeah, no.
what they have in the hardware. So I'm curious if that will change, or what will change having the new hardware. I'm sure it's gonna look very
Yeah,
similar,
I think that's the
but
hard thing for Nintendo is like they've had that they such stylized content for so long that I think it has to be a new franchise for them to like maybe try to push the stylization for the power that they have here. So I think we'll see a lot more third party games like challenge the Switch than the actual first party Nintendo games.
yeah, you're probably right. I do wonder though, like if you have new hardware with like a Mario game, what do you change there? Like, do you get better lighting? Do you get like shinier
He can
water?
jump higher. He
You jump-
turns into a new animal. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, what will they do with this new? Because
Ray
they
traced Goombas.
yeah,
don't
yeah.
fucking
So
know.
we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing.
But like, I mean, there's a lot of the thing is too. There's supposed to be a lot more third party support on this next Switch, right?
Yeah,
As well. So that stuff matters for all those games too. You know, it's not just the Mario's and stuff like that. It's like, okay, what about if I want to buy Doom: The Dark Ages? That will probably come to Switch too. How good will it look on there? Also, right? Call of Duty is supposed to be going to the Switch too at some point as well. Stuff like that. Like, how well will it play some of these other franchises and games? And now I don't expect it to be on par with current gen whatsoever. But like there's a question in the chat. I was like, what handheld now even puts out 4K? Well, if you plug any of the handhelds that are PC based into a TV, it can whatever your TV supports up to the image of that because it's just picking a display. It's a PC, right? All those PC handhelds are optional to where you can scale that stuff and like yeah, you can adjust the settings within the game to change how you want it to play. Like if you're playing in handheld mode, no, you're not going. The screen itself doesn't support it. It'll support 1080 or if you're lucky 1440 maybe in some cases. But for if you plug it into whatever display you have, you can just change the resolution like you would any other PC game. And it may not run the best in 4K on some of them, but you can tweak the settings and stuff. But like my point is that just having the ability to output into 4K allows the image to be clearer regardless of if you are changing the settings and not doing native resolution with like DLSS and like frame gen and all these other kind of stuff that are supposed to be supported on these next gen cards and these newer graphic cards and stuff, like that's helps make it easier to display a higher resolution without taking as much performance away, right? So like that was going to be the cool selling point of the Switch 2. Yeah, it's a newer card, so it has going to be able to use DLSS and some of these other things to help with that. Now, if you're just capping it at a hardware level where it's just incapable of putting out a higher resolution image, then no matter what you do, doesn't matter. It's still only always going to be able to put out a maximum of that resolution. So
I think the major issue with the Switch 2 is going to be that since it is such old hardware, all the games now are like on such like more advanced engines designed for current gen consoles that like when they start trying to make games for the Switch 2, they're going to have to really work the game engines to like basically backdate it for old hardware.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the concern for third parties long term, is just newer game engines trying to get it to work on outdated hardware.
Yeah, it's like it's basically the problem they have now, but at least it's not extra potato. Now it's just a little bit
Yeah.
potato. Yeah. Like they still have the same problem where
We got some Idaho potatoes now, not just
like they with the Switch compared to the Series X is a big jump, right? But I think this time around it being closer to those consoles, especially when you have like Call of Duty still be released on like older stuff. I think it's still on PS4 and Xbox One and stuff like that. That does help with games like that.
yeah, I mean, Call of Duty is a perfect example because it's been running 4K 60 for a long time, right? On way lesser hardware, right?
Yep.
And like that
it's not stable 60 though. On the newer Call of Duties aren't stable 60 on like Xbox One and stuff.
Yeah, but the ones that came out like in PS4 Pro and like Xbox One X era were 4K 60, and those were pretty stable at 60 frames. Like my point is like even those wouldn't be able to hit 4K even if they were released or at some point. Like it's just like the performance and the capability of the device would be exceeding what they're actually allowing it to be output at on older games. So if I go and get an older game like that, it's capped when back 8 years ago I was able to play that fucking game in 4K. You know what I mean? It's like, well, on lesser hardware way back then I could play this game at 4K 60, but now I can't because limitations of the device. It would just suck. But it is what it is. We'll find out. Like I said, there's some in the chat have been saying that, hey, it will be 4K because people talked about games running in 4K. So if it is, it is.
It's like Breath of the Wild or something. Someone, I seen that comment. It was mentioning some game.
If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't, and we'll figure it out. Will it deter me from buying one? I don't know. But it will suck ass to all the people that are saying it doesn't matter now when the Switch 2 4K OLED edition comes out 2 years later. There you go. Right? Well, in other news, guys.
I want to play Switch handheld, so I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it's not a fucking handheld. It's got to be a console. I want it to be a console again, man. I want to be able to fucking plug it into a TV and have a good console. Please. That's all I wanted from Nintendo. I just want a fucking console. And if it's a handheld, that's cool. If you were selling it as a console, which they are, make it good as a console also.
Nintendo heard you and they're like, anyways, we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and make our billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Maximize
all
profit.
We heard was cha-ching.
Yeah, it costs us 50 more cents to allow 4K output. So, nope, we won't do it because 50 cents times 100 million devices out there, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, hey, did y'all hear this about StarCraft?
Yeah, it's supposed to be what they're going to give it to South Korean companies to work on the other projects in the StarCraft universe.
Yeah. So this was interesting. Like, there's supposedly Blizzard and Microsoft and Blizzard, Activision, whatever, whoever's making the decisions is like, hey, we want to make more games with StarCraft universe, so we're going to look to the east and look at supposedly they're negotiating with multiple companies right now on a deal to make a StarCraft game.
Well,
yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. Now, crossing my fingers, it's a RTS. Blizzard supposedly doesn't have like a RTS team anymore, so maybe that would be one of the reasons why. But this is interesting to see this kind of move to actually like outsource an IP like StarCraft.
I mean, the last time they did this, they created their rival, which was NetEase, with Marvel Rivals. So
what with Marvel Rivals?
What?
Yeah, NetEase worked with Activision Blizzard on World of Warcraft, like some expansions and stuff, and then they made Marvel Rivals, and then now they are wrecking Overwatch. So
yeah, but Marvel Rivals didn't have anything to do with that.
That's a little different.
Yeah,
like they get like their competition from the another company, like ooh, and then they make their version. They make their StarCraft.
So you're saying that they're gonna hire one of these teams to do StarCraft. They're gonna make StarCraft.
But then they're going to end up making the next Call of Duty that's...
right. And then they make their version of StarCraft and make it way more popular. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay. So
I'm predicting the future in this episode. So.
Yeah,
but like it's funny because it was like World of Warcraft and Marvel Rivals are completely different genres, so it's like...
Yeah, but they just like, let me look at your catalog. Oh, Overwatch, let me do that.
So it would be like them licensing out the StarCraft franchise for a South Korean company, and then them going and making like Diablo. So yeah, we worked on StarCraft, but we're gonna make our own Diablo now.
Yeah, I guess they could. I guess Diablo would be the more popular.
I am so fucking lost right now.
I started. I'm sorry. I just watched something that was like a documentary on like NetEase and Activision Blizzard, so it came to my brain. So
I guess I have to watch that so I can understand what's going on. So NetEase helped on World of Warcraft. But only in China, right? In the East, weren't they the publisher that lost ties with ABK?
Yeah, once Blizzard pulled out or whatever.
Yeah, and then after the ABK acquisition, Microsoft got them back on board. So I think they're back helping on World of Warcraft, or not helping on it, but they're the publisher for it. I think in China, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what they did to be able to publish.
I think so. Yeah, because the first company lost some rights or something.
So I'm going to ask you again, what the fuck does that have to do with Marvel Rivals?
Well, my point of that was NetEase, like during that World of Warcraft whole thing, a lot of developers was seeing the toxic work culture of Activision Blizzard, and they went over to NetEase, and then that team started, becoming a thing. The leader of Marvel Games started making the teams, and then he made Marvel Rivals. And I was just joking that, like, hey, they're gonna start this team with StarCraft, and then they're gonna make such a good game, and that team is gonna spin off and then make their own. Just relating to that, it was a bad joke, but now I gotta explain. Jokes are especially bad when you have to explain it in parts. Yeah. So, anyways,
I get it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Fuzzy, StarCraft, is this something you would like to see them do more with more franchises? Is like reach out to different parts of the world and different developers and say, hey, we're not able to do as much with these IPs as we have been. Let's work together.
I'm all for it. I think if they can't find one of their studios in house to be able to do it, reaching out shouldn't be that much of an issue. I think probably the big thing is make sure it's a good fit. And I think with was it Nexon or something like that they're reaching out to, or NCSoft or something. Those seem to be good fits as far as for that franchise, but they have so much IP that they probably should do more of that stuff with. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm hoping we wind up still getting a StarCraft Ghost at some point, like that third person perspective type deal. Would be pretty cool. But as far as for like their traditional StarCraft type game, yeah, those teams seem like they would be perfect for that. And who knows, maybe we'll get a lot more IP games down the road in that regard with them doing that, or hopefully it goes well so they can continue to do that, because last thing they need is like a kind of like a platinum game situation. Although I don't think that will be the case with this, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, right on, man. I wonder what genre it would be. You think this would be like they would go out and do the RTS, or do you think it's spin off?
Probably
I think this one's probably targeting the
RTS.
RTS, but fingers crossed it's a spinoff. I want that StarCraft Ghost third person.
Okay. I think I'm kind of leaning towards RTS just because it was so popular in Korea to begin with. So maybe like there's a lot of passion for the development
And
of
it's
a
been
new
so
one
long.
there. Yeah, and it's been so long as well. So um yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see. And I think you'd find the right team there to probably do it.
I mean, like, I think you could also do like other cool stuff. Like, we saw the success of Warhammer this past year. Like, I mean, it's pretty similar with like I forgot what they're called in StarCraft, but they're the dudes in like the mech suits, basically like Warhammer suits. Like, you could do like a third person co-op action game like that set in the StarCraft universe and maybe compete with the Warhammer uh, franchise.
See, we're talking
That'd
about
be cool.
competing. See, told you.
Find a way to circle it back around. Love it. Yeah. Well, I mean, NetEase and Microsoft and ABK are partners again, so it's like, they could. I think NetEase is that maybe one of the companies that's even in negotiations for this. But I'm not sure.
I
There
saw
was
Crafton was
the
one of them.
Crafton. Yeah, they've been doing some other stuff with Crafton too.
What has Crafton done again?
PUBG.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. I saw this in the post.
They also
earlier.
published Callisto Protocol, the Dead Space kind of game.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it says okay. So Nexon, Netmarble, NCSoft, and Crafton are reportedly in competition to get the rights to work on a new game in the StarCraft universe. So all four. The one I'm least familiar with is Netmarble, but I'm familiar with the other names for sure. Nexon's doing a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
NCSoft has done a lot of stuff. Crafton, I've been seeing them more recently in recent years. After PUBG, and everything.
Who would you guys want to win?
If it's gonna be like a third person or first person shooter, I definitely want Crafton on that more so than any of the other ones.
Whoever's gonna make the best RTS.
Have they made RTSs before?
Any of these groups? I have no idea.
Yeah, like Crafton or Net.
Netmarble looks like a bunch of mobile shit.
Yeah, so not them. What about I mean, Nexon's got a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, Nexon.
Nexon's pretty good.
They did. I think they published First Ascendant, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me look everything that they got. They got quite a bit of stuff. Games. I'll look just more in recent years. They worked on Titanfall Online, that license from EA.
So the big games is the first Berserker, Vindicus, First Ascendant. That's kind of the more recent stuff. The finals, obviously. They're just a publisher. They don't actually like make the game, but
yeah. Lawbreakers, which was that Cliff Bleszinski game. But it says Nexon currently retaining the IP rights. I don't know if they had anything to do with the original publishing. Oh, let's see. What else they got? FIFA Mobile. There you go, Fuzzy. Come on, man, give me something good. Dave the Diver. That's a it was a big hit for them. The Finals, another one that's a big hit for them. First Descendant. Yeah, and they're also doing Arc Raiders. So yeah, they got some different cool stuff. It seems like they've kind of picked it up in recent years. As
I
far
feel
as
like Nexon's probably the most variety kind of publisher that's there. NCSoft, I would say, is probably better for the RTS just because they have more like kind of strategy fantasy games. I would say that kind of fits probably more with RTS.
Looking at NCSoft's games now. NCSoft has Ion 2, which is an MMO coming. Throne and Liberty.
Blade and Soul.
Yeah, Blade and Soul 2, Lineage, a lot of MMOs.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I've never heard of. But that goes with a lot of these. I mean, really, like a lot of these like Korean developers and publishers are more like making ground now in recent years with like publishing deals and development of games that are becoming more high profile. It's kind of had like a resurgence or a surgence.
Yeah, I would say I would say their IP is just kind of more spreading towards the west.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was more kind of isolated to their region.
Speaking of the East, so it's been pretty much come out that Sony did have a deal with Black Myth Wukong. As they, I mean, I don't know if they like meant to do this, but they were celebrating one of their teams called Content Ventures, which their job is to go out and make partnerships and deals with games and third-party companies to bring games to PlayStation. And they had games like Stray, again, was a timed exclusive on their system. Black Myth Wukong was shown there as well. Stellar Blade was one of the games as well that was shown. Meanwhile, I remember a lot of the conversation went for a long time that no, this was the Series S's fault why Black Myth Wukong did not show up on the Xbox. And despite numerous reports coming out that there actually being a deal in place, including Xbox themselves suggesting so, not so mildly, that this was a kind of deal that they had with PlayStation to keep the game off of Xbox for at least a period of time, or at least to focus entire resources towards optimization and development of the PlayStation version of the game, leaving the Xbox version by the wayside. So I wonder if have we even seen, has been people trying to dispute those reports now since PlayStation pretty much came out there and said, hey, look at our partnership with Black Myth Wukong.
I don't think anyone cared because it's like old news. So it's just like
moved on.
No, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people have just been silent about it, like, oh, shoot.
It's funny how the shit that these people were so wrong about for so long gets revealed later. And it's like nobody cares anymore because, hey, it's in the past. But like they continue the same cycle over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like
it was crazy because I went over in my show yesterday, and it was like there's a long history of what led to the lie, right? Because you had Game Science come out saying like, hey, we're trying to optimize a version for Xbox Series X to meet our standards, yada yada yada. Months later, come out with another article which basically said like it was impossible to get the game optimized without several years of optimization experience. And then that's when Microsoft finally commented, where they were like, hey, and I still have the quote up. We're excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series X and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners, other platform holders, but we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that. The director came out after that saying it wasn't true, that they have no deal with Sony, right? Um, and then Microsoft doubled down, and then they basically said the same thing. They're like, we prefer not to comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders. There and then people still like Jeff Grubb came out in a video not even that long after that where he was saying like, I have sources that are saying that PlayStation doesn't have a deal with Black Myth Wukong, like according to my sources, and I was like, okay. And we're fast forwarding to now finding out that yeah, Sony is kind of who we thought they were. Like this is what Sony just has a long history of doing partnerships like this, which is why we even like talked about it on this channel where we were like, yeah, that makes sense that Sony would prevent a game from coming to the Xbox. Like they had a whole court case about this exact thing. So it's not like a huge surprise that this happened. I think the annoying thing was just like the fact that Sony was being super quiet about it, and then the devs were basically saying like, "We don't have a partner deal with Sony. We're just we can't get it to work on the Series S," putting blame on the Series S again. And it being disputed again. Like this has happened several times where a developer blames the Series S for all their woes, and it comes out that it's wrong, but all the blame has already been put on the Series S, so it's a potato, all this different stuff. It's like a trail of lies that you could clearly just go through. Um, and it's interesting, like you said, Mav, I don't think Sony even realized what they did by releasing that article.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think they realize like, oh yeah, we're really happy to partner with Black Myth in the past and partner with. I'm like, wait, whoa, whoa, rewind. I don't think they necessarily realized what they did there, but it just kind of
I mean,
confirms.
I don't. It didn't really hurt him because no one was really talking about it. So
Yeah, I mean, media is gonna media. People are not gonna want to admit that they were wrong or I mean, to
yeah,
be fair, out of all the people, like Jeff Grubb was saying that it was false, PlayStation doesn't have a deal with Black Myth. IGN, I give them crap all the time, but they were the ones that was kind of being like, according to our sources, we think that yes, they do have a deal, um, in place, and other people are like no, no. So it's very rare. I give IGN props, but I will bow to them here because they were the few that was kind of being like, yeah, I don't know if they had another article after like, yeah, maybe Xbox sucks and maybe Series, yeah, I don't know, but I do know they did have an article at least that said like, we think Sony is in a deal with Black Myth Wukong. So
yeah. But then it was probably that one sentence, and then the 90%
and
of
then the
the
rest.
article was like, but in the past, every developer has said the Xbox shit, and this is going to list out 10 examples of
I didn't
the
read the
Xbox
whole
being
article, so
shit.
it's possible. It's definitely possible, but yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, there was like three, I think, major. I mean, Jez was one of them. He had IGN, and then there was another group as well that was out there all cooperating around the same time about it. People called them all liars. People kept calling Jez a liar, about it and blaming the Series S because that was the popular thing to do at the time, right? Uh, Coming off of the previous year with Baldur's Gate 3 missing the launch of Xbox because they did not take the time to optimize for the Series S properly to get it up and going. Xbox ended up having to help them out, which they did. Got it up and going shortly after launch and ended up coming out on Xbox as well, without the native split screen, or not split screen, but native co-op on couch co-op. It still had
Mhm.
online, I believe, but the that was even since been updated as well. So it's fully content complete across um, all the Xbox devices, which means it was capable from the get go. right? But
Wasn't Black Myth when it was first shut off? Didn't they have the Xbox logo on their website or whatever? And then like
yeah, there
they
was
stopped
even
the
It
game?
did. That's what started
Yeah.
it all.
yeah, there
Yeah.
was even an article like you have to hunt for it. When the only time we were waiting for the release date of it, and we just realized they didn't mention Xbox, and they only showed the on it was at the Game Award or one of the shows. What I forget what it was, but
Yeah.
they only showed the PlayStation and like PC or whatever, and we're like, that's weird because there's not like a marketing deal or anything like that. That it hasn't been marketed as like a PlayStation
And then we all thought it was
game.
like the other game from like a year or two before, where it was like they showed it off, and then like a week later, it's like, yeah, we just couldn't talk about it because we signed a deal with Sony, so now we can talk about the Xbox
Exactly. We
version.
thought it was just like a temporary marketing thing or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And so we went, and you have to hunt for it because they didn't mention Xbox at all, right? So we had to hunt for it, and we ended up hunting. That same day, I ended up looking on their website, and then like you have to go through the, FAQ and stuff, and be like, yes, the Xbox version was announced. It'll be coming at a later time. We will share news with you on that without really saying why, right?
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of the like speculation began, like what happened, like where is it, and that's when Xbox put out the tweet like we can't comment about partnership deals made with other companies or something, you know what I mean? So it was like, oh, okay, we see what's going on here,
Yeah.
you know. But everybody at the time was trying to make it about the Series S. Like, oh, there's another one
Yeah.
that is just like, now the what can't launch the Xbox because of that damn potato Series S thing that just keeps all of our joy locked away because Xbox decided to make that decision. Yeah, it was all horse shit, man. Like all the Series S, this whole generation stuff has been all horse shit. The only instance it ever caused an issue was that one fucking time with one mode for one game. One mode for one game. And
They patched that.
And they found out that, hey, they optimized for it. It ended up benefiting everything else. And they also ended up finally getting everything content complete on that game.
And probably Halo Infinite.
But that still launched with like,
Yeah, no,
you know what
I
I mean?
know.
Like across the board, like with the same features and stuff. And that game was like missing a lot of stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's just weird to see the conversations happen. Everybody gets so on this call. Everybody liars. Comes out now. Hey, Sony's talking about their own partnership with them now, and it's like, oh, didn't happen. We'll still find a way to retroactively blame the Series S because that's where we were at that time, right? So that's what sticks in people's minds. People won't even acknowledge this or take the time to see what's going on with this, and we still don't have a Black Myth Wukong release date or announcement for Xbox yet. Which
Yeah.
personally, I don't give a
We
fuck.
probably never will at this point.
Yeah, fuck them for not putting it like I don't want it.
Like they could have just been honest about it.
I don't blame Sony for offering the money, and doing the deal. I blame the people that take the money to limit the access to the user base.
I don't blame them for taking the money. I blame them for basically blaming the Series S as the reason why they couldn't put the game out on an Xbox.
Well,
That's
later
literally a lie.
when he was talking about, well, it would take us a long time to figure out how to optimize for that and stuff.
Was that before you took the deal or after?
that was after. It's like because they never even cared to even try. Like they didn't, you know what I mean? Like they were saying
couldn't
like
even if they wanted to because they signed a deal. So it's like they weren't upfront about that.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the deal was. The deal could have been they still released on Xbox, but then they got the money. Like, actually, we don't feel like taking the time to fucking do this because Sony gave us $1 billion, whatever the fuck it was.
Right, and it was crazy popular on PC, as well.
Yeah.
It was crazy popular in China. That's part of why it did the 20 million unit sales or something. But like I get tired of the Series S slander. Like any game that runs on a Steam Deck, sure as hell can run on a Series S. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if a dev tries to tell you different, then either they're lying or there must be a solo dev that doesn't know how hardware works.
They didn't really take the time to optimize for PlayStation because wasn't there a shit ton of issues at launch on PlayStation?
There was.
Yeah. And it's still kind of stuttery to some extent, but it's playable. There are certain levels that it will, slow down a bit and whatnot. And I don't think the pisser on the Pro helped anything. But yeah, I just I don't know. I just at some point people have to call out either the devs or the media for saying the Series S can't do something when it's playing on lesser hardware from PC standpoint. So if the Series S was a PC, it would be above the average played PC or used PC on Steam. That's just based on the hardware. So I don't know. I don't know why people still push this stupid narrative, but
Yeah. And as long as you release a game on PC, you're already developing it for a variety of specs. And that's what people need to understand. Like, if you're putting a game like Black Myth on PC, on Xbox, you're developing it for so many different specifications that it's like the whole argument that like, oh, it can't fit on the Series S or something, or it's holding it back. You can't say it's holding it back when you're developing it for PC and developing it for a common card like a 1060 card or something like that. Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense. So
it's about optimization priority.
Yep, always has been.
So anyway, one more thing. Speaking of Xbox and not having a game on their system, PlayStation's having a lot of Xbox games on their system right now that are just doing gangbusters in the pre-order store. I saw I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Derek Strickland? I think he's kind of an analyst type guy on Twitter. I don't even know who he works for, what he does, but I see him posting this kind of stuff all the time. And he posted a screenshot of like the PlayStation pre-order storefront today, and we already talked about this a little bit last week and stuff about Xbox dominating on the pre-orders store. But the image, and he pointed out this because they have so many versions of these games too. Like they have 3 versions of Forza Horizon and like Indiana Jones and stuff, right? But the image on the pre-orders, like number 1 pre-order games on PlayStation 5 right now, 6 out of the 12 are Xbox. 6 out of 12 for the top 12 games listed there. You have Forza Horizon. You have like multiple versions of Forza Horizon 5, multiple versions of Indiana Jones, and then Doom: The Dark Ages. So imagine like that carrying out through the year, which it very well could. To where
also a Game Pass game is on there.
Yeah, I saw that. Clear Obscure Expedition 33 is on there as well, which we get in Game Pass. Imagine just thinking about the 7 of the top selling games on PlayStation in this time frame. We all got that shit on Game Pass.
Yeah, it keeps happening.
Well, I guess we'd say
it was 3, but
4.
Like 4,
yeah, 4 because you got multiple versions of the other 2, right? But Doom: The Dark Ages, they will have multiple versions end up showing up there as well. As it gets closer to launch.
But do you remember the conversation that was around like COD, Black Ops, that the fact that it was on Game Pass means no one's going to buy it on PlayStation? And what did we see?
Oh, yeah,
I just think it's funny that Xbox games have been trash for 20 years, but now that they're on PlayStation, they're number 1 top selling games on the marketplace.
They realize it's good now. Yeah.
Enjoy them. I fucking want those franchises to keep doing well. Buy as many copies as you possibly can, PlayStation guys. That'll help us get more games into Game Pass for me, 100%. And I think this is going to continue. I mean, there's going to be more happen this year. This is we're only in April, right? And this multiple ones going to be releasing, and then later this year, there's bound to be some more. And then also, I think at the Switch 2 thing, they're probably going to have some Xbox type games announced for that too. But yeah, you're going to see like at the end of this year, the number 1 publisher of games sold on PlayStation will most likely be Xbox, Microsoft. Yeah. That's not I mean, okay, think about it. Call of Duty will launch later this year. The only competition they'll have is Take-Two. because they'll have GTA 6 and they'll have NBA 2K, right? So those are going to both sell well, right? Those are 2 games. But Xbox is going to have Indiana Jones, Forza Horizon, Call of Duty, which is going to do huge numbers as well. Plus, they continue to sell shit tons of copies of Call of Duty all year from the last year. That always is a thing. Doom: The Dark Ages is going to do well.
Flight Sim's probably going to come out on PlayStation. It probably won't do that amazing, but it'll still come out.
That's going to be weird.
Yeah, Flight Sim. Did they already announce that? I think, or no?
I don't know. I just figured it would be if they haven't.
Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, I think as well. I remember one or the 2 of them or something is going. But then also like Ninja Gaiden 4 is published by Xbox. That's coming out this holiday. Outer Worlds 2 is going to be launching there as well. So you're going to have, with these games coming up and then also the rest of the games for the year, there's who else is putting out more games on PlayStation? Like, I mean, you got like, is EA even have as many? Or
Battlefield might come out this year.
No, it's pretty good. They're talking about spring target for Battlefield. So
I guess
EA
they
will
released
have the
that-
sports games, right? They had Sport
like
Fiction.
UFC.
So EA will have the EA football. I forget what they call it.
Yeah.
They'll have Madden. They will have NHL.
UFC.
Is UFC
Right? Or is
EA
that this year?
Yeah.
still?
Yeah.
Okay, UFC. Split Fiction.
Mhm.
Which did really well.
Mhm.
If the Respawn
Okay.
Tactics game comes out this year, that could be this year as well. I'm struggling to think about other ones. You know, Take-Two's got NBA. They have WWE. They have, GTA. If it ends up hitting this year,
A racing game,
Does Old
F1.
Country come out this year, or is that next year?
which one?
Mafia Old Country, because isn't that still
Oh,
under
that's
Take-Two?
Oh,
that's supposed to be this year. Yeah,
that's Take-Two.
yeah, that's Take-Two as well. It's crazy to see though that like this whole reality of like with all these games now and like kind of where they're saying if Starfield could end up happening this year, who knows?
Oblivion remake maybe too.
Oblivion remake will be multiplat, like for sure.
Yeah.
And any of the other older games they end up deciding to move over. Like I'm just it's just crazy to see.
You say
like
Tony Hawk as well?
Oh, I forgot about fucking Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk 3 and 4.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
At the end
think
of this
Xbox
year, they
might be
could
releasing
sell
more.
more copies on PlayStation than any other publisher. It's a possibility.
Well, I mean, Call of Duty is going to do that for them anyway.
Well, yeah. The reason I was saying Take-Two is because GTA 6 is going to go
GTA.
crazy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Call of Duty is already like, oh, and then the rest are just like extra salt at that point.
Wow.
But yeah, it's gonna be insane. And I mean, we don't know when GTA is officially going to launch, but we're guessing probably October, right? October, November timeframe.
Somewhere around there. They're still saying it's going to happen. So, we'll count on it until it doesn't, I guess. Well, what are the odds? Like, I just want like, I'm gonna say yes or no. Is Microsoft the top publisher on PlayStation this year? 3-bit.
By sales or like review games?
This
Like
number
review
of
score?
number of copy games sold on PlayStation this year.
This year?
Yeah, this year in 2025, will Microsoft sell more copies than any other publisher of games on PlayStation?
Yeah. At first, I was gonna say no because of GTA, but just combining the sales with everything, it might do it. Because you
They
got
might
Call of
also have
Duty.
more games released than any other publisher on PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm just combining all because to take down GTA, that's hard, right? But if you combine the sales of some of their other games too, alongside Call of Duty, it'll be a close one because GTA is going to sell very
That's the
well.
thing.
Oh,
I think
100%.
Take-Two is the only other one that has a chance with NBA and GTA.
Right.
Yeah,
They
they're the
also had
closest.
WWE, which is going to sell really well. Which it already came out. I imagine it'll sell really well. You mentioned
Yeah, well,
Mafia. I think it'll do good, but it's not going to be like a 20 million or something
is
crazy.
Mafia this year?
Supposedly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Xbox.
And what Borderlands 4 is this year, isn't it?
Oh,
They own that.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good one, Jasper. Yeah.
okay. Maybe I'm
Mm.
reconsidering. Let me think.
Fuck.
Now I'll stick with my answer.
How many copies do we think GTA 6 sells on PlayStation?
A
On
lot.
PlayStation alone,
Like, how much did the first
I'd
one
say
sell?
14 million.
It'd be the biggest like launch ever, I think, for a game.
I think the thing with GTA like is depending on how late it comes out this year. Like that's going to kind of be the determining factor with that.
Yeah. So it's like about it's about like, okay, so quantity and like each individual game, how much are they giving? So like Take Two can have maybe like 7 games or 8 games, whatever, but each one of those is going to do massive numbers. You know, Xbox might have like 10 games, where some of them aren't going to do as many numbers, but some of them are. You know, like Forza Horizon 5. It's a must-own game this generation that has not been on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
That's gonna.
I think it'll be the best-selling game on PS5, besides Call of Duty that Microsoft has put out so far.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is gonna sell really well. Call of Duty is gonna sell really well.
Doom is going to sell really well.
I think Doom only does like
How
3
much
to
does
6
Doom
million each time. They don't. I
think
mean,
this
it's a
one
lot,
has-
but it's
Doom
not
gonna
like.
be on Switch?
This one has a lot more hype too, though, man. I think like those previews. I meant to fucking talk about the Doom previews.
Oh yeah,
that's
in the
that's a
title of the show.
thumbnail. Oh my god, dude, I just got on sidetracked all this other shit.
Like, oh shoot.
Yeah, Doom itself, man. Like those previews that we got today, like holy shit! Like the amount of hype I see, all these people talking about how this is going to be the biggest Doom ever, the best Doom ever, and how it changes Doom and revolutionizes it again and stuff. I think they're reaching more than just like this traditional Doom audience. Like I think, like you saw the gameplay. We're talking, you have the mechs, Titan levels, you have the Dragon levels, you have traditional Doom as well, but it's more open and spread out, and like Doom is looking like it could do. This Doom I think will sell better than any other Doom.
Man,
Doom
you having me go
2016
back
is
and
the
forth.
Doom 2016 is the best selling Doom. According on Steam, it sold 5.5 million. Doom Eternal sold 5.1.
On Steam.
How much does Borderlands
Yeah.
sell?
But Doom is a very
That's-
console-friendly game as well. You know what I mean? Borderlands does a lot.
Yeah, how much does it? Really? Okay, maybe I'm gonna switch my answer to Take Two being first, and then Xbox being really close second.
How much did Borderlands 3 sell, Jasper?
I don't know.
Alvin says every Borderlands has sold 20 plus million except the pre-sequel.
Yeah, but they also like have long legs on them. So like, and they go on sale a lot.
Let's see. Borderlands, the game sold 8 million copies by the end of 2019, according to Take Two. Take Two revealed the sales numbers were over 15 million by 2023, and the game has over 18 million copies now.
Okay.
That's, I don't know when this was written or whatever, but
Right. So I'm talking about for this year
least
though.
20.
So it's like, as far as the legs go, yeah, Borderlands is gonna have a lot of legs on it. I think it'll probably do that.
The reason why I'm switching is because Borderlands and freaking GTA combined is going to be a lot.
And NBA.
And
yeah, NBA is
like,
fucking huge. Yeah.
That's why I changed. I was like, oh shoot, that's three
monsters.
Like people just freaking buy consoles just for NBA.
NBA and Call of Duty. Like,
yep. So at first I was like, Call of Duty. Well, yeah. I'm sick with Take Two, but Xbox is a very close second.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought to have though, like about that. Fuzzy, what do you think? Yeah, will Xbox be number one publisher, or is Take Two sell more? Who's gonna sell more copies of PS5?
Ooh. If you're saying number one publisher by just raw sales, it might wind up being Take-Two, just because of GTA probably alone. But
Right.
if you're talking about consistent number sales for a lot of their titles, or at least just from I would say a standpoint of over 2 mil sold for each title, let's say.
Right.
But I think they could probably get 2 mil out of Indiana Jones on that platform. I know they can get far more than 2 mil for Forza Horizon 5. Like I'm expecting somewhere in the 5 million plus range. Doom, I could see them, getting, in the 2 mil range possibly on that platform. As far as the Tony Hawk, at least a mil, if not 2 mil on that too. So they'll have a lot more titles that probably get more critically acclaimed and do decent numbers across their entire library or portfolio that they put over there. Take-Two, I mean 2K's NBA 2K is going to do great. GTA 6 will do great. Mafia, Old Country will probably do great. But outside of that, I don't know. Like WWE will probably do good as well, but the WWE is already released. I don't know if they've talked about any numbers.
I have
on
no
that
idea
one.
how they usually do. I know there's a lot of fans, of it, but I don't know like
Yeah.
the numbers. I think
And then with EA, Battlefield is probably their best hope outside of Madden. I don't know. I think Xbox. Let's put it this way. I think they'll wind up being publisher of the year in general. They'll probably have more titles in the upper 80s or better. Let's just say, or at least mid 80s and above. Borderlands, I hope it does well this go round. I don't think Borderlands 3 did as well as they hoped. So we'll see how that one does with 2Ks. But it's going to be, if it's a battle of just raw sales, like someone was saying in the chat, I think it was Prince Green was saying, it's like you could probably combine all of the titles with COD and GTA alone will probably outdo it. It's just a matter of anticipation. Like I expect COD to do 10 mil on PlayStation because that's like the norm pretty much. GTA is probably going to do at least 5 million more than that, if not more.
Yeah.
We'll see if Xbox is good with the marketing about the cheapest entry point into next gen with the Series S. Hey, with that thing working on the Series S, all of them are going to be 30 frames. I don't care what anybody says. I highly doubt PS5 Pro will do 60 frames. So, if Xbox markets plays their cards right, or if they could get away with doing a bundle, or convincing places like Target and Walmart and all them other places to do bundles with GTA, they definitely they could help themselves. But yeah, GTA is going to do some big numbers, and if it's $70 for a base edition, I still think they do 40 million across the board between Xbox and PlayStation, for pre-orders on launch day and whatnot, or pre-orders and what they sell on launch day, and then it just goes up from there. But if they talk about $100
this
edition,
kind of all relies on GTA coming out this year. To be fair,
Yeah, but like
True.
Thinking about it, like too, like Fuzz is putting some of the numbers out there, and I think if some of these franchises is equal to some of the others, like Doom, like the Dark Ages, I would think like should sell as much as Borderlands. You know what I mean? But maybe it won't. Because it hasn't in the past, right? But like, why hasn't it? Because it's fucking really high quality every single time, that they come out with one. So that's maybe it's just not as appealing to the masses or something as Borderlands. I'm not sure why, For me, if you were to say what's a bigger franchise, Doom or Borderlands, I would just immediately think Doom.
I think Doom's just
lifetime
older crowd.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
Outer Worlds 2, I don't think is going to like it's gonna do well, but I don't think it's gonna go like it's not gonna be like those other numbers. You know, it's not gonna do like Borderlands numbers and stuff like that.
It'll do a mil at least on PlayStation. It'll probably do at least that on Xbox or pretty close to it, and then PC will probably be maybe 2 or 3 mil. Like I think the first one was under. I know it was under 10 million, but it was a decent amount for a game that probably didn't cost them that much. Anything that's north of like 2 million sales total is probably a win for Obsidian on that title. So, or
Is
or at
Take-Two
least from
still
the
the
first one.
publisher of the first one?
They're still the publisher of the first one, but there is an edition that's published solely by Xbox that's like a more
okay.
all-inclusive one. That's how you get it in Game Pass, I guess, because there was some back and forth on that. And that's why you couldn't do like the free upgrade or something.
Yeah.
Because forget what they call it. Well, that team has been disbanded, hasn't it? From Take-Two, Private
Oh,
Division or
maybe.
something.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
was
you're
it
right.
sold off or something?
It was Private Division, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's also Ninja Gaiden. I think will do pretty well, but it's not gonna go like it's not gonna do those other numbers for those other games, right? So
Like 4 maybe.
it's like
3.
quantity. Like Xbox has more, I think, like in general of what they're and there's like I said, there could be more that we don't know about right now as well, right? But just in general, the ones that we know about, I think it's going to be a lot. Call of Duty alone is every year is the top selling game on PlayStation. This year probably won't be because GTA 6 if it actually launches. But that's kind of going to be an outlier. Every year, Call of Duty is going to be the number one usually there as well. So,
Wilfrey did make the point that he says he thinks Xbox publisher because GTA will only be on the next gen consoles. Xbox publishing will be on everything.
yeah, but there's already 40,
Like,
50 million of those PS5s out there, and it's going to it's going to sell like at the craziest ratio that you've seen on PlayStation at this point.
I was gonna say this is the one game that again you can't think about it normally. It's like
Yeah.
it's the game that can sell consoles.
Yeah, it's going to sell a lot. I mean, it's going to sell
PS5
a lot.
and Xbox.
Like College Football 25, same thing last year was only on next gen, and it was number 2 game sold for the entire year, I think. Right, only behind Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty had just surpassed it.
A lot of Series S's were bought, by the way, around that time. So, if like you said, Mav, if they market it well, this could be a good entry point for people wanting to play GTA 6. Play it on the Series S at a cheap price point.
We'll see. Jasper, you would take 2 also? Do insurmountable?
If GTA 6 comes out this year, I think so.
Yeah. If not, there's a chance.
If not, then Xbox is taking it because GTA 6 is definitely that giant in the room that you can't ignore.
and maybe I'm still way off. Maybe like, okay, each of these games, Xbox only sells a few million on PlayStation. I don't know, right? But regardless, to even be able to have that kind of conversation now is crazy. It just shows how things have changed so much. But like ultimately for me, like it's still been like people worry so much about Xbox console sales, but for me, I'm just like at this point, I just want those games to sell as well as possible because that means they do better and we get more of them and we get more funding for Game Pass and all these other kind of things, right? So it'd be an amazing world where I get all these games in Game Pass day and date, and that continues to live on forever, and other people buy them, and that's cool too if they want to do that. And I'll support that for sure. Yeah, I think I think Doom will be the biggest Doom yet.
Yep. It's a cool setting. We'll see how well it sells. Like they just have other games outside of COD that I feel like is going to sell pretty well.
Did y'all see the previews today? Anybody watch any of the footage?
I did not.
No.
Yeah, for a bit. Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, it looks pretty sick.
I mean, I was already sold on Doom, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
that shield is definitely going to be fun. Like just throwing it at stuff, or bashing into stuff with it, using it as like a battling ram kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those weapons, I was expecting to see more of. Well, I only watched a little bit of the. I didn't watch the full 15 minutes, but I saw more like ray guns and things as opposed to like skull guns and stuff. I was expecting more like medieval stuff, like maybe an arrow launcher kind of thing. But it still looks fun as hell. So can't wait to play it.
Yeah. We're gonna have. I think it'll be the best Doom game for me because it's more open. Like you got some exploration elements and stuff in there. It looks like, and like the way that they go between the levels is gonna add a little bit more like just variety. You know, I loved Doom back in the day, like in the '90s, like the first few Doom, and then Doom 64, and that that shit. You know, I'm not talking about 360 era and beyond. Then I kind of tailed off a little bit from it. I still kind of played it and enjoyed it here and there, but I wasn't like as into it. But this one is like it seems like okay, this is different enough from what they've been doing, to recapture my like excitement for the franchise. So looking forward to it, man. You see it 3-bit previews? No, too busy.
Nope.
All right,
Yeah,
check them
too
out.
busy.
Check out the previews. A lot of the press and the media and people that have covered it are saying like this is a game changer for Doom. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
Check it out.
Could be bigger and better than ever before, and looking forward to that. That's only May, right? May release date. So
Yeah, May something.
yeah, so April we get South and Midnight, Clear Obscure Expedition 33 into Game Pass.
South of
When is Tony
Midnight's
Hawk?
April, right?
Yeah, so it's April we get South and Midnight and Clear Obscure Expedition 33 into Game Pass. What was it? Was the one you said, Fuzzy?
When is Tony Hawk? Is Tony Hawk also April, like mid-April or something?
I thought that one
Or something
was
like April 18th or
I
something.
thought that was.
I thought that was like summer or like June. Or
Yeah.
something.
I thought it was like
Okay.
June or May or something like that.
I can't remember. There was something else in April too, like coming. Tempest Rising, which is a PC game I'm looking forward to, launches in April. But yeah, there's quite a few games coming out, man. Speaking of games releasing, we have one more segment here on FSP, and it's called This is Tidbits, the segment where we look ahead at the games releasing for this week. Jax 82 Towerborn, April 29th. That's right. Who was excited for the Last of Us $100 bundle? Not me. Maybe I'm not a fan of that franchise really too much.
I love it. That's great, but not for $100.
All right. This first one is Cora. Wait, am I saying that right? No. On
I gotta leave.
Koira,
Not game.
coming to PS5 and PC this Tuesday for $24.99.
Weapon X is July for Tony Hawk. Right on. Thanks, Weapon.
Cannot see it for some reason.
You can't see it.
This game is from
No, I can
Don't
see it.
Nod, so it's going to be a pretty good game. Although I don't know why they went to PS5 first, but it is what it is.
So they could take advantage of that PSSR, man. Just needs it.
Yeah, with the pisser, instead of the character looking like they're in the shadows, it'll be like photorealistic.
Love the art style.
And see, games like this, okay, so like imagine your Switch 2 can't play a fucking game like this in 4K. Come on. You know, oh my god, it's so powerful, it's so demanding that it can't put I mean, come on, guys, really?
Yeah. Now this is one of those good game, or the games that I like to play on my Steam Deck. So, yeah, this is perfect for handheld.
These are the kind of games I like to go to sleep to.
Where you start playing it so you can fall asleep.
I just don't play it.
I was like, how do you play it if you're asleep?
I'm saying April 17th there, but it actually is supposed to be this Tuesday.
PlayStation.
All right, this next one is Croc Legend of the Gobos. Coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC this Wednesday for $29.99.
It's just like a remake of a 64 game or some shit.
Yeah.
It looks familiar, but I remember that like snaggletooth fucking one tooth gator look, but I don't know from what.
Yeah, so I'm like,
This looks like some of the classic platformers.
yeah, it's
for
like a
childhood.
Banjo competitor back in the day that never took off.
Oh, look, it has similar mechanics to Astrobot. Oh, wait, the original came out before Astrobot. No, I'm just kidding.
This is what was the systems for this again? It's on everything?
Basically, everything. I don't know if it's coming to mobile, but yeah, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC.
This has got to be a
Can run on the
remake.
Switch
Yeah,
one?
this is a remake
Yeah,
of
it
a
said remastered.
64 game because this is like screaming Nintendo 64 all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure if it was like mimicking that time frame or if it was a remake. But I've never heard of this game.
Maybe his original Xbox. I don't remember. It was a 64. As Sotness said, Croc almost beat Mario 64 to market. Splat!
Wow. Croc. I've never heard of that game.
All right, this next one is a PlayStation exclusive coming to PC. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered.
Hopefully for the last fucking
This
time I
came
see
out
the Last
last
of Us
year.
trailer on the show.
Yeah, hopefully the last remaster.
It's not going to be the last remaster. Well, maybe the last remaster of
Oh
The
no,
Last of Us.
we have to have a collection come out next year of the first two remasters together.
I think that's
For
what
PlayStation,
got
and then the-
announced for $100.
Uh,
That got announced like a $109.99 or something like that today.
Oh my fucking god! And then the next year will come out a PC as the collection.
where's my freaking online?
Well, I think the collection's coming to PC also.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure though.
You remember me? We let you both live.
I wish things
I can look. Hold on, let me see.
I really don't give a shit.
It's a
Would've
great
been
game.
awesome.
It's just freaking annoying. Like I love Last of Us, but goodness gracious, you can only remaster a game so many times.
What they should do is add like deleted scenes where you could play as Joel for that one. You know,
Yeah,
like
play for
Joel intact and Joel with the dent in his head from the golf club.
Yeah, instead of wearing an astronaut suit, you can wear like a cowboy suit or something.
All right, this last one is My Little Universe coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S this Friday for $11.99.
at every turn. Be prepared to confront fierce enemies and monstrous creatures that
Yeah, Prince
stand
Green
in
said
your way.
Croc
When
was
you don't have to
popularized
face
in the
this challenge
90s.
alone,
I've
team up with friends to strengthen
I knew
your unity
Gex.
and overcome the
I knew
trials of fate
freaking Big
together.
Bugby,
A dark power
Bugsby.
attempting to stop you
Something like that.
shattered the ancient
But I've never heard of
portals.
Croc.
Restore them to reconnect the realms and continue your journey. Explore and breathe new life into the 9 unique worlds, bringing them back to
Kind of
the
a bad week for
paradises
games.
they once were.
Yeah, what the heck is
This
going on?
is your journey, your adventure, your
My Little Universe. I mean, that first game was the most interesting to me.
Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. This week sucked.
Well, I didn't do the game that has early or the games that have early access.
There's some
So
good stuff.
There's a
next
big
week.
one that's coming next week for the masses, but if you pay the $10 extra upgrade, or if you do like the deluxe edition, you can play South of Midnight on the 3rd. On the 3rd of this week. So I'll be doing that.
I don't remember where I saw the Last of Us collection thing. Somebody was like, "Did you want to buy this Last of Us collection? It's like $109.99." I don't know, maybe they're making a joke or what. Or maybe it's like a maybe it's on Steam or something. Oh wait, what is this? Shop the Last of Us collection.
It should be a humble bundle for like, $60 at this point, to be honest, but for both the first and second one on PC.
It's crazy, man. I know we know why they keep doing remakes, remasters. Like, I mean, it was pretty much given to us.
Yeah, the
by
command said that they
Developers.
need you to buy remasters so we can make new games.
Yeah, but it's just at this point, goodness gracious, man.
The April Fool's thing. Is it a day early? Maybe. I don't know. It fucking wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, that's sorry about the games for tidbits this week, everybody. I thought it was a crock of shit myself.
Wow.
You like that?
Yeah.
I mean, was that the highlight?
Your joke you just made there? Yeah.
No, the joke. Yes, Thank you, everybody. We'll be here all week. Thursday, PM in the PM, Friday, Xbox Ultimate Podcast. But yeah, that was it, guys. That's it for the tidbits, I guess. We've had some weeks where there's like 20 fucking games. Remember like a couple months back, Fuzzy?
Yeah.
There was like this
Yeah.
I remember Kate was waiting on me. I was like, "Hey, we'll be done soon. We're just doing tidbits." And then we started tidbits, and then I look at the list and I'm like, "Holy shit! There's like 1,000 games this week."
It's like, see you, babe, in 20 years.
yeah, that was a lot of games that week. But yeah, then sometimes you have weeks like this.
This week has been more so like updated content for like games with season passes. So I think that's why there aren't as many releases. There's I forget all the games, but like even Monster Hunter has a new season thing coming.
I think the
there's a
Fallout
ton of others that have.
Duel update thing dropped either this month or last month. I don't remember.
Yeah. So it's more about the live service type games getting their updates. And just because that list sometimes gets ridiculous, I didn't want to add those to the list today.
Yeah, understandable.
We have a title for the new Spider-Man movie for 2026.
Yeah, I saw that.
Off news.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Spider-Man 4 releasing July 31st in 2026 will be called Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Spider-Verse.
No,
movie.
I'm talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Yeah, because the Spider-Verse, that one just got teased too.
So they're getting away from the home finally.
I guess it's a brand new day.
It was like home, No Way Home, Homecoming.
It'd be like Spider-Man Home Run, and he starts to play baseball.
It's like home run. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I know a Sadie something is in it. People are thinking
Sadie
she's Gwen
Singh.
Stacy. Yeah, is that her name? Sadie Singh.
Yeah, she's from Stranger Things. Yeah,
Stranger Things girl.
Yeah, she was the one
should be
that
cool.
was like getting possessed and like flying in the air when the in
should have died.
in episode 4. She
Yeah.
went into the
Spoiler.
sorry.
Sorry.
I don't care.
That's where
I've already seen
the Kate Bush song was like.
Yeah.
Running with God, running all no places, or running up that
Yeah.
road.
Run up that hill. Yeah.
Do. Anyway, hey.
I played that song like the entire week, like on repeat.
Yeah. So did every 9 to 15-year-old kid.
Girl. Yeah.
Yeah. my
What are
daughter.
you trying to say?
You like
What are you trying to say, man?
you like the same games as my daughter, and apparently the same music too, because she still listens to Kate Bush now. This shit's on playlist. She discovered
Both of
other
it has
songs.
the same taste as a 13-year-old girl.
Maybe.
Hey,
I mean,
like games are awesome.
we all know what a 3-bit game is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
My 3-bit games are amazing. To 3-bit.
3-bit. And
Yeah, to 3-bit.
and 13-year-old girls. Which is fine.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Games are for everybody.
I sense a little judgment in your voice.
No.
Your voice there.
Nothing.
No, okay.
Whatsoever. You're into what you're into. I liked when I was a kid, I liked Care Bears.
So Care Bears or Smurfs more?
It started with Care Bears and graduated to Smurfs.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then I became interested as an adolescent with Smurfs when I found out that a lot of the stuff had to do with smoking weed. Then I was like, oh, this is even more interesting. I'm going to rewatch all this shit when I'm high. No, I'm just kidding. Didn't do that.
Did you watch the original My Little Pony?
I usually would turn it off, but sometimes I would get sucked in. But it came on like right around the same time as Care Bears.
Yeah, that's what I was.
But I'm not a brony. I'm not one of those. But I could name some of the ponies. Had Applejack.
What's the rainbow one? Rainbow something.
I think I can only name 2: Applejack and Fluttershy. That's the only 2.
Fluttershy, yeah.
That's the orange one, right?
I have no idea.
Oh.
There's one actually named Cheese Sandwich.
What?
Yeah.
They have such weird names.
Found that out. Yeah.
Which did you prefer watching more? Care Bears or Gummy Bears?
When I was a kid, I really liked Care Bears. I mean, but they were like, you had like Tenderheart, you had the movie where you had like Braveheart Lion and the cousins and stuff. Like you had Champ Bear. You know, I really like Champ Bear, but then they changed his color. It pissed me off. So they had the original Care Bears. Like I was really little. That was my thing. And then when I was like a kid, you know, it was Transformers, G.I. Joe, you know, Thundercats, Voltron, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, I never got into My Little Pony. It was more. So you can say, hey, it's cool if you like 13-year-old girl.
We probably got
games.
some bronies in the chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, there was Rainbow Bright, Strawberry Shortcake. You guys know all this shit. Like it was all on TV. We saw all the same stuff. There was the cartoon that had the 2 fucking koalas. You remember that where they ate eucalyptus outside this girl's window at the beginning, and they were like, it was like I don't remember what it was called.
So they're a bunch of pervy koalas just
it was like
watching a girl in the window.
No, it's like this koala show about koalas, and there was like Lois and Bram's elephant show. You remember that? Skinny me rinky dinky dink, skinny me rinky doo.
I mean, I've heard that, but
yeah, that's from that.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm talking about stuff from 35 years ago, like almost 40 years ago.
She said, I could hear you talking about being there. It was good things.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't watch that stuff or play the games about that stuff anymore, though.
It seemed kind of defensive when you said that. It seemed like you watch it all the time.
No.
I used to watch Smurfs all the time. Like the original Smurfs and then a little bit of Care Bears. And I did watch the original My Little Pony. Like I had it on VHS tape.
Yeah.
But I can't remember any of the people on there. It's been
they were horses.
I mean, yeah.
You said remember the people I said they were horses.
Was there ever a human in My Little Pony? Probably not.
So did you have a fascination with My Little Pony, and that's why you tried to ride a pony when you were 15 years old?
No. I was also a Smurf man.
Okay.
I was a Smurf man. Yeah. That's probably why I like the color blue.
Hey, my daughter is in the chat. So I heard you talking about me. We watched Mulan last night.
Oh, that's the best Disney movie.
It's the best one.
It's my favorite.
That's what my parents always said I would watch on repeat over and over was the Mulan movie for the
Yeah,
Disney
fucking good.
movies.
Yep.
That's the
Classic.
one they said you would.
Yeah, because like they said, my brother watched Aladdin and I watched Mulan.
Oh,
for our
okay.
Disney
But
Like
you don't
I
watch
just
the
thought
movie.
they were like saying, "I think you will do this, Jasper," and it never actually came to fruition.
No.
Retroactively, they said, "Hey, you
Yeah.
did this." Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't remember? Like, why are they saying, like, why can't
No,
you
I
say
already
it?
remember it. I'm just saying it's just they always said that like that's the one Disney movie I would always watch over and over again.
Who's saying these things?
His parents.
This people? Okay, it's okay. Like, who's the they?
His dad made him listen to the "I'll Make a Man Out of You" song on repeat.
That's my
I'll make a
go-to.
man out of you.
That's my go-to karaoke song.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter says her favorite's Tangled. Yeah, she loves Tangled.
Oh, Tangle's good. Yeah.
Fuzzy's silent, so we better get out of here. He has no comment.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
He's like, all these
I'm
movies.
reading through the chat.
He's like, all these movies suck.
Fuzzy's like, these guys keep talking about this girly shit. I'm sick
He's
of
like,
this. I want to
he's
talk
like,
about cars.
I want to go. No, he's like, I want to go watch these shitty fucking B horror movies that no one's ever.
I want to talk about Mopar. All right, guys.
Some of the horror movies are pretty good, but during those times when you guys were probably watching those, I was watching things like Toxic Avenger and stuff like that. So
Oh, the Tromaville movies.
yeah.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh yeah. They call them something different now. Like I see them at like some of the horror conventions, but I forget what they call them. But like I used to have, like my whole bed was covered in Garbage Pail Kid stickers. Like I'd peel them off. I wish I would have kept them intact. They'd probably be worth something, I guess.
Maybe.
But-
Yeah. We can say that about everything that we owned back then, probably.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank
Fucking
you all
Pokemon
for
cards.
being here. It was a fun show. Audio listeners, thank you all for listening as well. If you do like the content, hey, leave a review. Helps people find us. Everybody in the chat, thank you all for being here. I saw some awesome names here in the chat. And if you did like the show, hit the like button. Share us out later, notification bell, all that cool stuff. Greatly helps you find us in the future. Jasper, thanks for being here this week, sir.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Check it out, Lord Jasper, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And I'm not working weekends anymore, so I should be able to jump in on Mondays and Fridays again for a couple months, maybe. So we'll see.
Sweet. Looking forward to that. That should be awesome.
Yeah.
And what about you, Jasper? Not Jasper, 3-bit.
I was like, what?
Yeah, Jasper.
I just forgot I was talking to you, Jasper. Can you say it all again, Jasper?
Yeah, just say what you said.
3-bit.
Everyone can find me on the bluest of skies at i3bit. On every Sunday, I do pixelated echoes with Fuzz, and Mav drops by sometimes. So that's gonna be cool. This week, I think it releases this week. I'm gonna wait one more week. Something I worked on is finally coming out. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'll wait one more week. I think it comes out next week to officially announce it. But check me out on Blue Sky, and I'll see you guys on the next show.
Thank you, sir. And
Also tomorrow, I forgot to announce this.
Oh, okay. What's happening tomorrow?
This is happening right here on Fun Speculation tomorrow. Phil Spencer is coming on.
Is this because this is April Fool's tomorrow, 3-bit?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for
Okay, too big. Go do your outro.
Appreciate you as always, bro.
Yep.
And what about you, 3-bit? I'm just kidding. What about you, Fuzz?
Oh man, this was awesome being on here with you guys. Thanks everybody in the chat. Awesome having you guys here as well. Just play some games, have fun out there. You can find me on social media. Search Fuzzy Belvedere. You can find me. And along with playing video games, watch some horror movies. And yeah, Christine was it's like in my top 10. Some of those people deserve to get run over. So just saying.
Right on, man. Of course, a horror movie about a car would be your favorite. Did you see it? Did you like Maximum Overdrive? Did you see that one?
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where it's like you have to, forget about reality to some extent with the vehicles that they had in that one. But yeah, it's up there in my. I would say it's in my top 100.
So you watched
kinda
that movie,
thing.
you were like, "This is impossible!" Like this kind of truck. It's like
Yeah,
this
I mean
typical
it
fuzzy.
was cool, but it was like
Uh,
nobody has like a Joker on the front of their truck around the highway. Like I don't know. It was just
oh,
it
it was
was
so funny, man.
that was like the weird thing. Like if it was just like a regular truck or something like that, I probably would have gotten into it more. But it was still cool nonetheless. I don't know.
Right on. Thanks, man. Well, if you do like movies about evil cars, then make sure you don't watch Maximum Overdrive because of the weird Joker face on the front. Watch Christine instead. But everybody, thank you all for tuning in. We will be back next on this Thursday, as if everything goes well, with PM in the PM at 7 p.m. Eastern-ish time, and then Friday Xbox Ultimate Podcast 9 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you all have a good one. Peace out. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.